Our technician is handling some things right now. All right, good. All right, cool. Yeah, man, yeah, we have to learn. All right, so just to recap from last week, we did a brief discussion or an extensive discussion of what HTML is, and what are the different syntax, what's the trick behind HTML, how can you have a better appreciation for it, and how things become less complex when you start appreciating in this manner that is demonstrated. So my name is Chandra Gordon, for those who don't know. An introduction was done from everybody last week. I'll allow everybody to introduce themselves, not now, but during the demo phase. So as we begin and continue on with the class, everyone will have a chance to formally meet everyone. All right. So going back into the recap. All right. So we explained last week that a computer in itself is just an instruction receiver, right? So anything you want it to do, you literally just tell it to do it. So going back to the topic or method I used to describe last week is, if you want a boy to walk, how do you command the boy to walk? Right. Hey, for those who were there last week, right? So let the boy walk, right? All we're doing is giving, all right, this, I'm not sure, probably can't see. I'll try to come closer, and I'll adjust accordingly, right? Yeah, so if you want the boy to walk, all you're doing is giving him an instruction to walk, right? If you want the girl to talk, same procedure. Let the girl talk. So really what programming is taking this English statement and breaking it down into something that the computer can understand using a compiler or something they call a transcriber or many other methods just to get it down to the very basic level that it understands, which is machine code. So ones and zeros, right? So everything that you write, no matter which code you pick. So there's a thing, especially for beginners, where you're doing research on how to get started with coding. And you see a bag of languages, like people saying, pick this language, pick that language, use that language because that language is this language and that language. A lot of confusion, right? At the end of the day, guys, only thing that matters is the compilation phase or the transcribation phase, right? Bringing it down to ones and zeros. So taking English terms or English jargons, or in this case for programming syntaxes, and bringing it down to ones and zeros, right? So that is one thing we want to keep an open mind for. And another point I mentioned was programming in itself is just a tool. It's just like a canvas with a paintbrush. You give a painter a paintbrush and a canvas, and you create a gamut of pictures, a gamut of paintings. Probably Picasso and Van Gogh have different styles of painting, for example, but they have the same paintbrush, they have the same canvas, but they're able to express themselves differently. So all you're doing now really is taking a series of words and putting them together in a nice format that is expressing your creativity to expound on the beauty to the world, right? So just jumping into HTML, right? HTML was initially created for document transfer, right? So just like Microsoft Word, or just like Excel, you have HTML, right? So it's just another document format because all we're doing on the internet, if you look at the back of any website, all you're seeing is a compilation of documents. It's just a series of convoluted documents that you can reference in special ways. That is where the browser come in for display onto a screen where people can appreciate the work done, right? So Word documents have docx, HTML would have HTML. I'm just showing the comparison so you guys can really appreciate how simple this thing is. Documents exchange, that is all we're doing with websites. And as we grow further, going into style sheets and JavaScript, we'll begin to understand why they were relevant. And CSS is a topic we'll be touching on today. But before we get there, one final thing about HTML. So back in the days, it's a very high-level version of the story. If we wanted to get that document from, say, the United States, or in this case, call it NASA, right? We want to get a document from NASA, and we want to send it to somewhere in Russia, right? Some private exchange, internet is there, why not use it? If we don't have the internet, what would we be using? Probably some mailing system, sending a bird, probably in Harry Potter, send an owl to deliver the message. Blessings. Alright, cool. So sending an owl in Harry Potter to be received in Russia, who knows? There were all kind of methods, but the internet just came about. So why not use this profound tool to send my documents from one country to a next country, right? Secretly. So at the time, it was not exposed to the public. Nobody knew about it. Only the private entities who were involved in this exchange process. So we have the internet, which is represented by a globe, right? All right, so we're going to spend time on art, so don't judge, right? So we're trying to send out a document from NASA to probably the Russian space station, right? Which is in space, but you get the images, right? Cool. So NASA passes that information to the internet. Not sure it's showing. All right, can you guys confirm that you're seeing the board clearly? So kind of a glare. All right. I'm hoping that you guys are seeing it clearly, all right? So, Candice?
Clear enough. There's just a glare from that light, but I already know what's there, so I don't know if the other people can see.
All right, no problem. All right, so guys, this is United States, aka NASA. This is the internet, and this is Russia. So we're sending a document from NASA to the internet to Russia. So the internet in itself is that medium through which the communication is done from NASA to Russia, right? And at the time, there was no such document that existed. There was no such way of constructing a Word document in that instance because Word software didn't exist at the time, right? So we had to create a programming language because computers at that time only understood languages at the time, right? So we had to use something that the computer could appreciate and easily digest. And that is where HTML was born, right? So initially, HTML was just a document, right? Just a simple document. I just need to send to Russia, hey, you know, I met this girl yesterday, and I created this whole convoluted recipe or syntax, right, to send that message from NASA to Russia, right? So that is where all of this derived from. So it's all it is. The internet is just hosting a series of documents in the format of .html and more. So as we progress, we start to appreciate frameworks and many other things, right? So this is just a recap from last week's class, so we can all be on the same page, right? So what we did last week as well, we compared HTML to the human body, right? So everybody have a head, everybody have body. I tell you guys, don't judge my sketching, please. I feel like some high level judgment. Everybody have legs, we call them foot or feet, right? And hands, right? But don't pay too much attention to the hands. Just call it the body, the head, and the foot. Cool? This is a stick man for those who can't see it. Right, I think we can. Right? So just like the body, HTML has a head, right? So head. Just like the human body, HTML has a body as well. So body, just like us, it has a feet, but it has feet. Foot up, right? So let's call this foot. Or in HTML terms, foot up. So the idea here is HTML starts, how does the browser identify this specific document that is HTML, right? We have to call it in something, we have to create a container by which every language, every syntax that is written is appreciated inside that container, right? So we usually start it with just HTML, that's it. So HTML is that container. And just as you open the container, you have to close the container. So HTML also closes that container. So the fundamental principle is anything you open in HTML, you have to close it, right? And that is where the convoluted syntax starts to come in now and you get a better appreciation of what the language is trying to do. So, like I say, programming is just words. Everything that you see, the greater than, the less than sign, the colon, the semicolon, it makes it crazy. But these are the specific syntax that you learn over time. So we try not to focus heavily too much on the syntax, hence why assignments are given every week for you guys to challenge yourself and figure it out, because the world of programming is that. You research, you Google, you copy and paste. How can I do this? Trust me, anything you can think of, somebody in the world probably have done it before. So don't waste your time trying to write complex algorithm on how to make a burger. I'm sure when you guys want to cook, let's go on YouTube and say, boy, how to make ravioli pasta. Boom, type it in, see the thing pop up, you do the thing, right? But understanding of the fundamental principles is what will get you to the level that you need to be in programming, right? So like I say, we just have an HTML document, open, close. We have head, we have body and foot. But here now, I'm going to introduce a nice little thing now, we're going to make it look complex, but it's just head, body, and foot, right? So here comes the syntax now, the scary syntax. So greater than and less than sign, greater than less than sign. That's it, but we still head. And every single tag in HTML follow the concept. So just like the HTML tag open, I have to close it. So the same greater than less than signs, right? Cool. So, but the only difference between an open tag and a closed tag is this slash right. That's it. That slash here differ from this. So this open it and this close it. See? Just like the HTML document, like I said, every single tag in HTML follow that same fundamental principle. You open in a tag, you have to close it. So we have a head tag open, right? So I'm going to create the greater than and less than signs. Or if we close it because we open it, right? So let's create a close tag for that head tag. Similar to the body, we just open it, greater than, less than, and if we close it, right? All right, perfect. So the footer now comes in, same concept as the tags, right? Greater than, less than, boom, footer. Yeah, that's it. So what we're seeing here is English, 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 English. We're taking English, I made the machine understand because the machine can't speak English. So like how me can communicate and I say, hi, how are you doing? The machine that want to hear 100114454. Sorry, not four. Stop. 1000010. That's the only thing it understands. So now there are some specialized tools they call compilers or the browser that brings it down to a level that the machine can comprehend because it cannot speak English. So that is why there's a buzzword now, AI, people trying to get the machine to speak back to us. We're trying to get it to understand things the way we do because it doesn't. And that is why we have to command it, right? So in saying this now, we have a nice setup of an HTML document. This is how you would start it. You have a header tag, you have a body tag, and you have a footer tag, right? But all the magic really happens inside the body. So everything that you would probably create on an HTML page is taking place inside the body. Just like your organs and everything that is important to you is inside the body part of your body. I don't know what sense, but you want to get the gist, right? Right, cool. So if you're writing something like we want to put a word on page, there are different syntax that we can pull on. So just like you're familiar with a paragraph, HTML has a paragraph too, but it's not called paragraph now. So that's where the beauty of syntax comes in now, right? So now we call it a P tag in HTML. So I'm going to write a P inside the body. So let me just remove the close tag because we can't write outside the close, right? It's called a P tag. And to start a P tag, you put a P, open, close, greater than less than sign, and you close the P. So everything inside that P is a paragraph, would be represented a paragraph. A paragraph in itself, each of these tags come with their own unique styles and representation. So to save you the work of, if you want to bold something in HTML or a Word document, you have to click the bold tag. We want to create a bold tag, right? So instead of go through all the styling and all them convoluted processes, they just create tags to represent different flavors of a document. So just like you have a paragraph, you have a P tag, a body, you want to create a list, you have a list tag, you want to create an image, you have an image tag, you want to create a table, you have a table tag. But I want to dive deeper into the table tag because it's important that it's important for the next topic that we're going to bring up, which is CSS, right? So before CSS, there had to be a way to lay out things on the page nicely, right? But CSS didn't exist. And just for those who don't know what CSS is, it's cascading style sheet. Keywords, style sheet. So HTML document in itself, a Word document, it's not the most appealing thing to look at. I mean, as I said, imagine a website will look like a Word document. There's only so much you can do. So we have to introduce some style to the thing, some flavor, some flair. But before we dive in, we have to go a little deeper into tables. So now tables is where things get a bit more interesting, right? Because if you write out HTML by itself on a page, you just have one line of bulletin. So you have a header tag, a paragraph, a picture, just one straight line. So now table have rows and columns. Table in itself can allow you to put thing over here and put one over here. So have it one cell right there, so have another cell down here, so and you realize that the document are come to life in a beautified way using tables. So I want you guys to have appreciation for that. So I'm going to just remove HTML and footer. Remember, the document is still open because I never closed it, right? Because I just removed the closed tabs. So now, table in itself start with a table, right? So table in itself is a tag. So we'll start with a table tag, open, close, and inside our table, you have a table header, you have a table row, but we're not going to write out the entire thing, not too long. Just like we're going to write out a paragraph, I put P, table header, we're going to put TH, right? TH for table header, and for table rows, we're going to put TR, right? Right? So the header is really, for the table, is the heading. So you have name, age. So we create a table, collect information on everybody that's inside of this class. We want to collect information such as name. It gets a bit deeper than this, but what we're trying to do is organize information, right? We can create the age in the header because these represents the head part of the table, you know, like the attributes of whatever we're collecting. So now, inside the row of the table, we'll start to match the information with the attribute that were listed in the header. So now name will be Jeffrey. Or Stacy. Right? And as I say, get a little bit deeper, but it organizes data in a way that you can appreciate it. Alright, so this is the idea or the fundamental concept behind headers or tables, sorry. So you have a header and a table row. So let's organize an assignment or one of the assignments that we did last week. Cool? So we're going to use table to make it look pretty on the website. Each table have different cells and rows. So I'm going to step away from code for a second here. So we're drawing a table, markers, and it. So this is our website, right? Or web page, or document. Before, when we're writing anything in our document, name will be here, image will be here, and paragraph will be here. So I'm to the whole of the space over here, so we're not using it at all, right? So we need to start get things to look more uniform. So here's what we do now. We're going to create an imaginary table using the same table tags, but it's not showing the lines of the table. But the containers or the cells are there to collect the information that you want to lay out. So let's imagine an imaginary table right here, so now, right? So we have a big table using the same table tag, and we have the header of the head or the row. But sometimes we can left out the header if we just want to use the rows and the table data to fill in information. So now, being that we have a table, we can say, all right, maybe we want to put a name here, so at the top. So now we're going to write Jordan at the top of the page here, right? So you see the nice layout. So now we have the big profound Jordan size text at the top of the screen, filling up the document, right? And Jordan in itself would be another tag, which is H1, which is a header tag, right? So it's big and bold, nice Jordan, but it now fill up the whole page. So the whole page is being utilized by this table and the organization of the table. So let's say we want to create like a resume type format table, right? So we're going to create another cell here. So just a cell, just another row in, but we're going to create a cell out of the row. And we're going to put image right here. So just like how your driver's license set up, you have a nice little image at the corner, because the cell from the table allow you to put things here. Just like how Excel set up, you can put things at different part of Excel and just stay with them. That's the same thing we're doing with HTML and table concept. So now the image I'm going to put in a cell here. I could probably write a paragraph here, so now in another cell, but they mean at the same row. So when I put one on one cell, when I create two cells or two columns in that manner, right? Putting one image in one cell, the paragraph in another cell. Just like Excel, but we're just filling up the entire page of the table. So you see the layouts are getting nicer now. It's not just a linear flow, but it's more of a control flow, right? I know we have a one row created here, so right? Cool. I know we want to put a paragraph introducing herself, or a cover letter, custom information, right? And then we'll say some boom. Write some paragraph movie. So all right. So Jordan is a guy, a top scholar, Rhodes scholar. And now look at this beauty now. So we're gonna remove all of the information pertaining to table, not in the code, but in terms of visualization. We're gonna remove everything. Let's remove the table around the border. And now we have a nice clean layout of Jordan's CV, Jordan's picture, Jordan's paragraph, and Jordan's cover letter, right? And that leads us into the important discussion that is to take place there, which is style sheet. So this can be convoluted. Can just imagine creating a bag of rows and keeping track of the rows and what cell is what and how to move it over there. It's a lot of work, guys. Trust me, it is. We'll try it. As in, it's a part of the assignment that will be given today. I want you guys to create a document using tables. But like I said, I'll upload this after class. But table only, just to get an appreciation of why CSS is so important. Give me a second, I was drinking water. And as a part of the demo today, I'll show you how this layout will actually work in actual code, right? I like to use the whiteboard before because, like I said, if you understand the fundamentals, you're already a programmer. You just need to Google well, know what to ask for, and you're there. Cool? So now we have our table. But like I said, just imagine creating a table row to represent that row, creating a cell or a table data in this case to represent that image, then create an image tag inside that table, and then creating another paragraph tag inside that cell, and create. It's a lot, so much, right? So much. But look at this beauty now. Let's remove the table concept. Still trying to create the same CV for Jordan. And here's where the beauty of CSS comes in, right? CSS now is really the skin of a website. So just like how your skin covers your skeleton, cover your muscle, and provide or presents a beautified version of yourself, just that is similar to what CSS does to our documents. A document in itself is just raw character text. Microsoft Word, to get a better appreciation, is very lame, right? So now CSS had some vibrancy, some creativity to your website. Right? So now we're going to dive into CSS. So what is CSS? As I stated before, it's a skin. It stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Operative word or phrase, style sheet. That is all it is. It's not a syntax, it's not a language. It has its own flow or structure to abide by. But once you get the fundamental structure, everything becomes common knowledge, right? So now, let's use that same example with CSS. So we're going to create an image tag first, right? Image tag. IMG in this case. We'll close, just how open. I will close it again using the same greater than less than sign, right? So now, in my image of Jordan that I had up in the top left here now, instead of create a table and table rule and data, all kind of madness, right? I can just say, listen, image, one line left, one over the left side. See? So the beauty about HTML now, it have its own, each tag have its own unique attribute. So you can have things like class, you can have things like style, you can have things like ref, href, which is just a link. But image in itself, you can use style. Every tag can use style, right? So there are things, there are attributes that is unique to certain tags, but image and every other element in an HTML tag can use style. So what we're doing now, we want the image to be to the left. So what we're going to know, inside the image, we write style, accessing one of the attributes, equal, and like I said, things get a bit complex here, so, but I'm not going to write the syntax for now. But we're saying, image, we want it to go left, because it's over the left side. So, right, align left. Right, which is just another syntax of CSS. Adding a value. So the flow of CSS is you add the attribute that you want to create the that you want to create the layout for, the style for, and then you apply a value to it. So if you want a border around a document, just create a border. Like I said, these aren't accurate. These words that I'm using right now aren't accurate name or syntax of CSS. Just use it English so you guys can appreciate it, right? Create a border, and you have a colon, and then you tell it what you want the border to do. So probably bold. So attribute, colon, value. Attribute, colon, value. That is CSS, right? So if you want something to appear at the top, you probably say align, attribute, colon, top, which is the value. So that is CSS in it, guys. We're not going any deeper. There's nothing magical to it, only the reference to which tag it's pointing to. Now imagine if I'm to use a style sheet or a style attribute inside of the image tag and to write all of this information in one place. You realize that the tag have a lot of information, it will be a whole heap of information, right? So another thing to link CSS to whatever you're creating is something you'd call class, right? But before we get into class, we have to appreciate the different types of CSS methods that are out there. So I'm going to clear out now. We're still working inside the HTML document, but just making some space on the board. So there are three ways you can represent CSS. Three ways, right? Remember last week, guys, for those who were there, who were here, we were trying to reference an image tag. Remember inside image, a source for the image, inside the image, right? Similar, that is how you can reference a CSS using a style attribute. So style on that same tag equals to the CSS syntax. Attribute, colon, value. What you want it to do, colon, tell it. Right? So that is what you call an inline method for CSS. Inline, right? Then there's another way, which is called external CSS or external linkage of the CSS, where inside the head tag, so I'll just recreate the head tag. So I remember last week I got a question of, so if everything happened at the body, always I neglect the head tag, so where the benefit come from, right? So here's where we can start referencing our external CSS file. So let's say we don't want to put all of this in the HTML document. We can now create another document, which is a .css file. So like I said, guys, if you go on any website, you go on any server, a server is where your website is hosted for the public to see and access. All you have to see is a bag of documents. That is all it is. It's a lot of documents, a lot of syntax make up of documents, so it's just documents. That's all it is. So just like that HTML, you have a .css file. And the importance behind the file is to recognize the syntax of that specific file. So let's say we want to reference a CSS file inside of our document, or HTML document. But we don't necessarily want to bombard the page with all that CSS. It's just imagine a HTML document with CSS inside of it. You see HTML, you see CSS. Have some degree of separation here, right? Create a separate file and then reference it. So create a .css file, create a bag of CSS things, right? And then reference it. So we say probably create a link tag now, right? So a link, the CSS file, href, as I said, href is just another attribute that points to a link or a location, equals the .css file that we're trying to access, right? Close the link tag, just like I'll close everything else, and close the head tag as well. So guys, now we're actually seeing the use of the head tag, because you can't, well, let me not say you can't, because if one night you feel like you want to break things, you can, but it is not recommended to have a declaration for a CSS file also have a head tag. So a head tag now, a head tags is really the brain to say, guys, this is what we're working with before we jump into the body. Figure things out first before we jump here. So all your JavaScript, well, that is another conversation, but all your information that your body will need is stored inside the head tag. So now we're referencing an external CSS document because we don't want to convolute, we don't want to put all the CSS code inside the HTML file. So creating a degree of separation now and just using reference to get access to it. Now you guys must be wondering, like, how do we tap into the attribute if we're not writing it on the tag itself? All right. So now I'm going to introduce you guys to another concept or another attribute of the types, which is class. So, it's a class, it's just another attribute on the tag. So we're just going to create any random tag, call it a p tag or a paragraph tag. And now we have a class attribute inside there now. Alright. So there will be a connection. Just working me here. So the class attribute really stops you from rewriting many CSS code to do the same things. So suppose I want to create a paragraph tag with a black background, a header tag with a black background, image tag with a black background. Do I write the CSS over and over and over and over again? No, I group them in that class. So now that class is the relationship between everybody that reference it. So I'm going to call this class anything I want. So many times if you go on the internet, that is where a lot of people become lost because there are things called variable. There are things that you're allowed to name the way you want to name it, anything at all. So they don't belong to the syntax, they're very unique or specific to the author of the document. So inside a class, you can name it anything. You can call it garbage, you can call it profit, call it skills, hard work, innovation, success. Yeah, I'm looking at the wall right there. All the words are right there. Not creating this off my head. All right, so you can call it anything, and you can use the variables now to get more creative. But we don't want to call it teamwork, we don't want to call it innovate, we don't want to call it hard work because it's unrelated to the black background that we're trying to create for each tag. So let's think of something, right? I want to create a black background. What would be an appropriate class to call it? Sir, you put in detention. Right? All right. So we'd want to find a name that is related to the style that we're trying to apply to each tag. So if we're looking at it, we're trying to turn the thing black. Maybe black background would be a perfect class name. So we can call it black background, right? So, or what? Or Batman, like that, creativity. You, I look over here, right? So Batman, right? You can create a class and call it Batman because Batman is associated with dark, not light, black, Batman cave, night, dark, right? So we give it the name Batman, right? But Batman right now, what does Batman mean? How we gotta understand why this class named Batman? What are you supposed to do with the HTML document? So now, because we reference to that CSS file, and the HTML document knows that there's a CSS file, we can happily go over to that CSS file, right? And create a Batman class, right? So I create a Batman class inside the CSS. So Batman, all right, so this is where the syntax for CSS does get tricky, but there are a couple of things you just need to know. So each attribute for the HTML tag have a symbol that is represented inside the CSS file. So for a class, it's a dot. So when you reference that class, put a dot before the Batman. So dot Batman. See? So I have the Batman already referenced inside the HTML page, but we need CSS to know that it's talking to this specific class and not the ID or many other things. So an example of things you can probably use Monastray. I'm going to stop right this up, right? I'm going to stop. We'll tell you about it later. Aren't you, right? Yeah, man. So we're already on the topic of trying to turn the paragraph black using class methods from CSS document. So the dot Batman, as I said, the dot represents the class reference, right? There's an open, right? There's an open curly brace. That's another syntax, and a closed curly brace. So as you open, you close things. But instead, in HTML, you put the tags, the greater and less than sign. In CSS, you have a curly brace. So open curly brace and close curly brace. And then you have to tell everybody that belongs to this class must have a black background, right? So we're going to say, call some background black. So attribute, colon, black, right? So background must be black. Cool. So inside Batman, everybody that belongs to the Batman class must have a black background. So every time you tie a class to HTML tag, it has a black background. Every time you tie a Batman class to HTML tag, it has a black background. So as I stated before, we're trying to create a H1 tag along with the paragraph tag, right? We're trying to create an image tag. This image tag thing is more complex than that, but just appreciate it, right? But it's not a term. Let me show you guys, all right? Image tag, close that. Another tag could be probably a table tag. Let's call random tags right now, right? And then we want to turn every single one of them in black. We already defined the concept in the class here, so a collective of everybody that refers black Batman and have a black background, right? So let us call the class attribute again. Class equal Batman. Same for the image tag. Class equal Batman. Class equal black Batman. Sorry. For the table. So now we're seeing that the code is becoming much cleaner because imagine writing all of this in a style tag, pandem tag here. Instead of let's call the class. I made the CSS document deal with all the mess. So we now want to mess up with HTML document. We want to keep it clean. I'm going to look on a paragraph tag. Alright, we don't see the reference to class in Batman. Alright. Which document responsible for class? CSS file. Boom, boom, CSS file. Batman I turn thing black. Alright, that's why things are turned black. Alright, we want to change to white now. Look on this now. This is where the beauty of the compilation of class comes in. We want everything back to white. So just imagine if you did have black background equal white, black background equal white, black background equal white, black background equal white. You have to change it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 6, 7, 8. Imagine an extensive document. Millions of times, right? But we already have one reference to it. Call the Batman class, everything I want in the class here, you're going to stick to it. So I remove the black now and put a white. Boom, everything turned white. That's how easy it is. So instead of me changing white, imagine creating a 40,000 page document with all reference to Batman, where Batman's supposed to be. Change to white. Batman decided to turn good and change to good, right? And vigilante, but that's debatable. Now we talk about it, right? So now we can just reference that singular item that is created in a style sheet to change everything that stick or is associated with that class and the relationships, right? So let's say we don't necessarily want to use a class. There's another thing called ID. So we can just remove class, same representation, and call it ID. However, guys, so class in itself means you belong to a class. So just like how we in a class together and all of we in here so learn the same thing, ID must have one unique item. So every tag only have one singular unique ID. It's a unique identifier. So that is what ID stands for. Identifying that singular item on the page, and it can only have that unique name. So now let's say instead of class, now we're gonna call this from Batman to probably so Stacy, right? So Stacy, no other tag on the document can have a Stacy name because a Stacy tag fits. And when we start JavaScript, you'll start to appreciate why IDs are so important. You know, versus classes, right? So IDs are just unique to the HTML tag, while class groups the HTML tag to apply several sets of styles to it. So Stacy, we'll create a CSS syntax for Stacy ID, right? So now remember I was saying that for every CSS class, there's this unique syntax for it to know what in the HTML to reference. So just like a class is a full stop or a dot or a period, right? For ID is a number sign. So the same concept, just we just put a number sign. The only thing I'm going to differ between the Batman and the Stacy is the number sign and the full stop. And that's because Batman is a class and the number sign represents an ID. So now when we put this in a CSS knows to look for an ID for Stacy. It's a code. So that's why I say that the syntax in it, if you know it, English is still alright, but if you know the syntax, you're going to appreciate it. So that's why I say we know the background is something in the back, we understand it in English, but the computer understands it as a background thing. So we're taught to it. So I command it, say, yo, me want you change Batman to black, me want you change Batman to white. So anything you tell it to do, that's why I say programming is just a tool. Anything you want the computer to do, if you want it, well, you can make it jump. If you want things inside of it to jump, you're right. Just say, oh, brother, jump. And some languages are slowly moving there. So you have like Go and many other languages that is getting closer and closer to English. So that is what the main goal is. I mean, we complain about it every day as a developer, while we can't write English and the computers understand. But if I understand, words can be coined in many different ways, so let's establish a structure or a set of protocols that everybody can appreciate. So when I say this is a body tag, everybody in the world knows it's a body tag, as opposed to, it's a Stacy session or our own tag. Me call body close, right? You call body close, then the body can research and say, wait, all right, close, what you mean by that? So if we start thinking like Stacy, Stacy probably a reference body with clothes and probably body with shoes, different creativity in mind. So let's establish protocols and rules that you must stick by so everybody can understand what the hell you're writing. Cool? So going back to the ID, so we'll create an ID called Stacy. Similar to the class, like I said, the only thing that changes is the reference. So reference class with a period, and reference ID with a number sign, right? So Stacy is just another CSS, well, just another CSS reference. Open tags and close curly braces. So CSS, like I said, have its own unique way of opening and closing using curly braces. HTML have its own unique way of opening and closing, greater and less than signs. So that's the programming concept. You have to know when to stop. A program will just tear down and just if you read a linear way, if you never close a tag, you get a bag of errors. You're gonna say, all right, you know what one is when you document this panic, but the computer is depending on you to tell it what to do. Right? It's depending on you guys. So if you guys just don't tell it what to do, you just have to blindly follow what you wrote. And that is a thing that I want you guys to understand before going further. So there's a saying that says the beauty is always in the code. So the code never lies. It's just like the code of ethics, the code of conduct, the code of anything. The code never lies. So if you have an error, don't blame, every day I tell me rubbish and check yourself first. So the ego of get cut. As a programmer, you have access that you will be doing you read a lot, you're reading garbage, right? And you just have to accept it. So lay down the ego, guys. Sometimes it's your code. Sometimes I tell you, I remember Xavier and I was working on a code one time, right? And we had debug for weeks, months, almost a year. And you know what was the problem? It was a full stop. A full stop, dog. So imagine I spent months and say, oh, dog. Right? You know, so this now work. We start blaming the library. We start blaming everybody who create this. Yo, you not. It's a full stop. But may I tell you, check yourself first before you check everybody else. Because I tell you, before they put it on the document inside on the internet, they must have tested it thoroughly and people have proved it. So you have websites like Stack Overflow, you have W3 schools, they kind of show things up there. They have them follow standards and people around the world vote on these standards. So me say, yo, want an algorithm to create a burger. All right, here is set of steps. People have a ticket and say, yo, man, the same method we use. Usually the most popular vote end up on the top. And if people say popular, trust me, 9 times out of 10 the thing work. The burger will taste good and you enjoy the bite. And you never, right? So trust, self, focus, lower the ego, and blame self first before you look outward. That is the concept of programming as well, right? So going back to Stacy. Stacy is a unique idea. I want something unique to Stacy. So let's create, this is not an attribute of CSS, but I'll create eyes brown. I want Stacy and brown eyes, right? There's no bias here, guys. Not highlighting my preference or nothing. I just want Stacy with brown eyes. See? So Stacy alone will have brown eyes in the HTML document because it's unique to Stacy. Right? So in summary, right? CSS styles in HTML. There's a cleaner way to do it by creating a separate .css file and then using different tags or different attributes of the tags as references. You can use class, you can use ID. I'm not sure if there are any other, might be many others, as I don't know everything. But the idea is to just link the tags back to here in a cleaner way. So when you read back your code, you can appreciate the beauty of what you wrote, or what you've written, sorry. So, and another thing to keep in mind, which is another topic we'll discuss in the class as well, is a thing called version control or sharing the code with other people. So when you're coding in a team, I'm going to do a team exercise, but not this week, probably along the week, for people to group up and work on a project together. When we start in version control. The idea is think of the other person when you code. You're expressing yourself. You might, alright, if you keep your room dirty, if you just throw your boxes everywhere, you don't want somebody walking and see boxes on the bed, or you throw it on the, you express yourself in coding because all you do is express the creativity. So neat up the thing, ensure you have proper naming techniques, ensure you follow proper protocols and techniques, right? So you're coding for other people as well. So code beautifully. Focus on how you lay out the things. Don't just create things or copy and paste on the internet. And another thing, don't just copy and paste. When you copy, make sure you understand what you're copying. Understand it. If you don't understand, don't put it in your code. Because 5 years down the line, if you check that code again, you're going to be lost. You're going to be like, all right, we know we get this on the internet now, we never know how about it work. Don't do that. That is one of the biggest mistakes made by a programmer. That is why it is so difficult for them to level up. Understand what you're copying and pasting. Understand every set of flow and how everything applies to the page. All right. So in summary for CSS, I'm just going to clean out the board. Want to turn tables all black? Yeah. Brilliant question. Brilliant question. What's your name again, sir? Xavier Bryson? All right, here. Brilliant question, Xavier. All right. So, as we stated before, there's a way to reference. So, what we've covered so far is the period in CSS, or the full stop, which reference a class. So, I'm just going to write the association beside it. The number sign, which reference an ID. But suppose we don't want to create an ID, just like Xavier asked. Suppose we want to call it all the table that we create, we want to be what black, is it? Alright. So there must be a way to reference my tags too. I don't have to create attributes to reference my tag. I want to create my tag, I want to call it directly. So I can change all of my tables into black. So because tags are not attributes, they don't need a unique point of reference. You can just write a tag there. So table, just like you call the table tag in HTML, open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Just remember, guys, this will save a lot of headache. Everything at home is closed. Stop the sentence and you need to stop. Right? All the tables to black. So I can probably change background. So attribute, colon, value, black. So every time we create a table that is referencing CSS file, we will turn the table to black. And another beauty of using the link reference or external CSS file, suppose you have 15 HTML documents, but you want the styling from a CSS class. Are you going to create 15 CSS versions of whatever you're referencing? Let's call a link. So I have 15 documents, I want to apply the same principle of styling. Link, CSS, this is CSS in my call. So that's CSS file in my call. So the 15 again can apply the same concept or level of access that all the others have, right? And to get a better or good appreciation of that, we lead over to CSS frameworks, right? So framework is really, it's just like how we can create a .html file and a .css file. It's like a structure here, somebody do it already. We probably not have to recreate the HTML for that CSS file and reference and all them things. It probably code already. Just like how last week we copy and pasting from W3 schools and just paste it into the document like that. It's the same concept of framework. So framework is somebody else doing the work or the mundane task that you need access to. So a framework could probably be an HTML framework that defines the start of an HTML document. That's a framework. However, framework for it to become adaptable in the society. So coding, in programming, they have this, what do you call it, what the word again? Community, sorry, community. So when you code, a community have to approve them. The community has to approve your methods. So when you put it out there, the farmer people get biased and say, you know, I like how Stacy upload for your code. I like how Sanya apply this concept. I like how Candice apply this concept. So you start to pick your side, just like religion, just like politics. You pick your side, you belong to this community. So now you're a JavaScript developer, you're a PHP developer, and I'm always going to present my case why my language is better. But remember, guys, are we going to the granular thing, the thing that we're going down to is ones and zeros. 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 0. Just pick it, master it. If you want to create something on the web, pick a framework, master that shit. Guys, can I use it? I'm sorry, right? Pick it, master it, build it. If you want to create something for the web, there's a framework for the web. You're going to pick one or go master it. Whichever one flow easier to use. So you listen to your friend and say React Native is the best. You listen to your friend and say Xamarin is the best, or Ionic is the best, or Angular, or React. Guys, just pick one. Whatever you're trying to achieve, pick the language that can make you achieve it and master it. So, for example, my stack is, so in programming terms, we refer to things as stacks. So, yeah, backend, front end, middleware, them kind of thing, right?
backend they give access to the front end.
Give you access to the front end. But we speak as another topic to discuss. Alright? So that is beautiful. That is all it is, right? See now we touch on the topic. Not to stray from the framework. I'm still on framework, guys. Let's give you an appreciation of it, right? So imagine if we were to share, imagine if we were to create an HTML document that is filled with so much information that it slows probably the load time or the level of information that is being accessed, right? So backend and front end, that conversation or client and server relationship is really allowing the server to do its hard work. The server is really where all the files will be stored or information pertaining to what is to be shown on the front end is being demoed, right? Just to give a high level diagram, not touching into it too deep. You have a server that nobody sees. So this is the public domain, that the private domain that people will generally see. What they're seeing is stuff on the browser. So instead of me writing out, say, I want the image tag to have Sonia's first name in it, I can just identify my server to pass Sonia's name down to my client, which is what everybody else is seeing. So it allows it to create some dynamic relationship, just in case you want to change the name later without changing the entire website. And change the name from Stacy to Candice to Nico, anything you want to change.
Access it from the backend.
Access from the backend. So the server is the backend. The front part is the front end. So front end, backend. Backend is where you not see. But backend feeds data to the front end. So it's not static anymore. So just like you write on a paragraph in HTML, the server can now give you unique content on your client. And that is all it is. But as I said, it's another topic for another week. But I just want to give you guys some appreciation. Alright? So going back to frameworks, right? So why is framework so important? As I stated before, there's many mundane tasks that repeat itself over time that you don't want to be writing yourself. If you create a web application or a website or a mobile app, authentication is probably something you'd want to do. Authentication is giving persons access based on information that they enter. So username and password, authentication or authorization, whatever, right? So I'm going to authenticate you to log into my app, right? Do I always write over that code base and say, boy, connect username, connect password, or when I create that account, username, password, last name, first name, or do I use somebody else's method that is already out there, that already created for me? So I need an authentication framework. I'm going to pull for that framework because I don't want to repeat. I don't want to go for that mundane task that somebody in the world has already created. And that's why I say in the code is a lot of sharing. Software was initially developed to share. People that start apply price tag because the developers didn't even pay, creative juices, whatever, right?
In addition to the benefits that you see, one of them is also mitigating against errors. So if you were to basically write from scratch yourself, something like authentication, which requires a lot of security, you miss a step within defining your framework or writing your code, then it might be detrimental to your system. So that is why it would be also beneficial to use a framework versus doing it from scratch.
Alright, so just so the person's on camera, Xavier was saying that another benefit of using a framework is it already follows or applies the best practices of probably security, for example. So instead of going and doing research of what a secure authentication process looks like, somebody has already done that research for you. So you can just capitalize on those things just in case, just so you don't miss a step, just in case you don't know what is required.
So you just use that step like having your attributes that you want to talk.
Pretty much, right? So the reason I brought up CSS framework is because there are some pretty cool CSS framework out there that save you a lot of trouble, man. Like you probably don't write CSS code at all. You can use some pretty websites using frameworks. So just like how we have our HTML document, we're going to start off with that again. We're back to the basics, right? I will close the HTML document because we'll open it. Creating a head tag because the head tag is what stores all the information that the document needs to reference. All right, look at the beauty of this now, right? So you can choose to create your .css file, or you can probably use somebody else's style from the internet. But how do I access that, right? you see the concept of you creating your .css file and referencing through link. You can reference frameworks through link, and the entire document get pretty. Like this, guys, it's magic. Like when you see it, I'm going to do the example today, but it's very much appreciated. Yeah, you call some classes because the reference already there, they want to link it from the internet, and your document is like a pretty and you say, how? But somebody already created those classes and stored it in the internet in the cloud. So now we can use our link tag. Same like how we reference external CSS file, we reference another one CSS file from Dubai. Right? So link href, they're equal to the brother in a Dubai code. The link when put up the website themselves reference. So two framework that I want to bring to your attention. One called Bootstrap and one called Bulma. B-U-L-M-A. That's right, so say Bootstrap. And I tell you guys, when you see Bootstrap and Bulma in work, it's going to blow your mind, right? So as I said, coding is a lot of copy and paste. You find things on the internet, you understand it, you copy it, and you paste it. But paste it with context, right? So like I said, once you understand the fundamentals of every language, you get why all of these things are important. So just like I reference a man CSS file on the internet, right? You have to know which class we use. Just like how we use Batman and Stacy, but Stacy was an ID and everything, we have to know when used. So that is where the art of documentation comes in. So each developer publishing something publicly has to document it. You can't want to share your code with people, you don't want to tell them how it works or how to use it. So if I'm going to link Bootstrap, or I'm going to link Bulma, Bulma has to have some documents to tell me how can I go about creating this is how it looks scripted, right? And documentation, I've seen some documents in my life. I'm not old guys, I'm just talking like an old folk, right? I've seen some documents in my life, you read it, you can't understand nothing. So there's a framework called Node.js, unrelated to the topic. Node.js is a server-side framework. That's all, don't think about it too much, not related to the topic. When you look at the documentation, it's just about a function calls. Function is just different actions you can give to the program, right? But when you look at a documentation like a Bootstrap, a Bulma, right? If I want to create a mobile app tomorrow and I want to put on a card, and I want to put on an image on the top and a picture below it, I'm saying so boom, copy and paste the card and drop it on my code. It's there. Because I just reference that link from Bootstrap or Bulma, and I tell you, they do everything for you. You start seeing your regular paragraph tags looking like magic. You start looking at your tables and they look like gravy, right? So that is why this link tag is so important for you guys to understand. Or they also allow you the option to download the entire file, CSS files from the internet. So the benefit of that is, suppose there is no internet or there is slow internet. Maybe you still want to keep a beautified version of the HTML file, right? So having those CSS file in your project folder. Remember last week we created an image folder inside the same project folder. Download them CSS file or drop it in. But we know where each class is because of the documentation, right? So now we can reference it raw without creating an href. Well, we can create an href that will reference the style of CSS that we're trying to get access to, right? All right, so for the remainder of the class, I'm going to do some actual coding. I'm going to get my hands dirty. I want you guys to just gather around. So CSS, like I said, is a pretty short topic. CSS in itself, if you understand the attribute, colon value, you understand CSS. There's no magic to it. You reference some class, you reference some ID, attribute, colon value. That is all it's following, right? And next week we'll get into, but I just want to touch on the frame because I want you guys to get your hands dirty this week. Next week we'll go into different layout methods you can follow, like flexbox, which is a style of CSS, gradient system, that kind of thing, right? So I'm just going to go on the machine. I'll be sharing my screen, guys. Everybody on there?
Yes.
All right, sweet. So let me just close out some of my things that I don't necessarily share with the world. All right, still closing things. All right, sweet. So here we are. I'm about to share my screen. Let me just bring up Visual Studio Code first before I get there. So Visual Studio Code is just another editor that we use, right? We have Visual Studio Code, we have Sublime Text, we have Atom, We have text, we call it notepad, all them things. So you can use anything you want to, right? JetBrains Suite, you name it, anything you want to create, right? So I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to start from scratch, giving an overview of everything that we discussed today, right? So just confirm that everybody's seeing my screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
All right.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right. So I'm guessing that everybody's seeing it as well. All right. So I'm just going to. This is Visual Studio Code, guys. Nothing fancy, just an editor. Trust me, it's beautiful when you get down of it. But right now, it's just an editor, right? We're just writing CSS and HTML code. All right. So I'm going to start with a new file. So when I work, I tend to save the file first as the format that I'm trying to create. Let me get more organized. Sorry, but oh wait, this. Don't look at this. This is the future. Don't look at it. All right, cool. So I'm just going to go to my desktop. Lot of junk here. Need to clean up this weekend. New folder. Need to call it Nyla. Right. Save that folder, and I want to open that folder inside my Visual Studio Code editor because, like I said, I want to keep neat and organized. So open. Just going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go open Nyla class. Open. So now, to the left-hand side, you see that there's a Nyla class folder that is being referenced. Everything that is created inside this folder will be reflected on the PC. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. All right. So just Nyla class. I'm going to create a file. I'm calling it so default any random name.html. I'm going to save that. Right? I'm going to go back to my desktop, open Nyla class, default.html. So it saves me the trouble of having to create it here, then open it here. You understand? So everything I'm creating is being referenced in my folder Nyla class. So as I stated last week, coding is a lot of copy and pasting, guys. Don't be afraid. So every time I'm starting an HTML project, right, I go to W3 schools because W3 schools have the default things that we discussed today. HTML tags, body tags, and as I say, everything happens in the body, but we don't need the header and the footer now. But I just want this raw start, right? I paste it here and I save it, right? To reference it now, I'm just going to go back to my drive, open my default.html file, just check and confirm everything is working. So this is a header and this is a paragraph. Cool? And just to get some appreciation of what was discussed today, let me try to zoom in on this. Right. So H1 tag brings its own flavor. So you have a bold, light looking heading, right? Paragraph tag have its own unique flavor, a nice little paragraph looking thing. If I'm to open Word, coming back to that, but let's flow the lesson. I mentioned a few things to you guys about. Lovely, welcome back. Oh, sorry guys, somebody came. All right. So I mentioned a few things that HTML is just HTML body, but a lot of things happen in the body. But because we want to work with some CSS, let's get some CSS code, right? So W3 School also have CSS tutorials, right? So learn CSS tutorials, and I want to get started with CSS, right? So how do I get started with CSS? Introduction. So a lot of unnecessary things. All right, so link tag, CSS. Sorry. Let's looking for that link tag because I want to create my style sheet, right? So that same link tag already in the head. So they're following best practices. So I say the header file is for declaration of things that will be used throughout the document, right? And just to remember where it should go, it should be the head, the body, and the foot. But we're not using any foot. We're just using header and body right now. I don't know what that HTML thing. That's bad of me. All right, so I just formatting it so it can look pretty or more organized. I have to do that sometimes. Let's make it look more appropriate. I'll just remove the title because we don't necessarily need it. Trying to focus on what we're trying to focus on, right? So I realize there's a reference to our style CSS file here. But what does that mean? I'm trying to reference something, but I don't have a CSS file to the left hand side created. I'll bring this back over some more. So let's create a CSS file. Cool. So I'll create something called default CSS. Like I said, guys, it's gonna be everything, anything you want it to be, but make it appropriate because you're not the only one that's working, right? So that CSS file, and I want to reference so that's the beauty about saving the file first. When I press this, it starts to point to the location of the different documents in my project, right? So I want the default, not style CSS. I never call it style CSS, I call it default. So I call it default, I change that from styles, just to confirm the references. Save this, right? Now I'm going to create some CSS. So I want to create a class called Batman as discussed in class today, right? And what did we say we want Batman to be? Black background? Alright, so let's go to Google and look for background. CSS. Not a robot.
Yeah, someone there that's the Google.
You need to stop. Alright, so we're seeing a lot of options here where background is concerned. We can choose background color because this is what we want the focus to be. And you realize it's surrounding a body tag. So what does that mean? So I'd say there are many ways you can reference different things in our HTML file, right? So that period right there is class. If we're referencing a tag, we can just call it tag. We call it the body. So this is going to turn the entire page blue. You want to see it? So I'm going to save it and see, go back to our file. We're going to refresh. And look there, turn blue, right? All right, hold on. James, I'm going to call it back at 12. I'm in a class here. Yeah, man, I remember the document though, but I'll call back at 12. Yeah, man, we'll talk at 12. Cool. Yeah, man, so we're seeing where the body tag. So I remember I tell you guys that everything happened inside the body. Don't believe it? Just apply a style to the entire body and see what happens. The entire website has been transformed to a color.
But can't you change the background in blue by just using HTML? Because I did it mine.
Yeah, well, in what way? When I say use
The
HTML?
background, the whole entire background I choose the HTML style slash semicolon equal background and the color.
Yeah, you can, but remember we discussed clean coding, right? So, all right, just I'm gonna do it and show you why. So imagine this, right? So that's what I look at using an attribute, right? Imagine, let me apply all the style to all the tags. I'm going to duplicate all of these, right? I'm going to reference all of these. Imagine you create an extensive document, right? And you had a bag of style or leftover style. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's change this quickly. So that's what editor give you some amount of power. Oh crap.
All right, select the first live view,
Mm-hmm.
and then come out and put it.
All right, I'm gonna do that next.
Need a better edit. All right, listen to me.
Like a box. I want to style. Just applying it to all different H1 tags. So look at this HTML document right now, right? I'm just going to comment out this for a second. Comments mean anything that's written in comment format is not recognized by the document. It's just for people to read from the outside, right? But we'll get into comments another time. But just imagine how this looks. You see this? So apply style to different tags, and you see that H1 is being crowded by the style sheet. It looks somewhat messy. You understand?
And here say we want all the headers to be red instead.
All right, we can use the command D concept, right? We can do that. But suppose a programmer don't know command D.
Yeah,
All right. Let me change it to red. 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 All right, we can stop now, right? Or we can do this. Boom. Right? We're going to create a class called change to red. Okay? And we're going to make the background color red. and we're going to apply this class to all of the things that we spoke of, right? So going back to the same tags, and instead of using style, we're going to use class because that's what we're referencing, right? Class equals to name change to red, right? We're just going to do the same command, these stuff. You know how to remove
No, just remove all of them and copy and paste them. The first one. You have to do the third one.
Alright, let's change this. This is just for him to get an appreciation, or everybody else to get an appreciation. And we're going to paste, change the red, and we're going to just do the same for this. Like I said, I just want everybody to get an appreciation of how tedious it can be to not follow a concept like this. So let's change the conversation, alright? We want to change all of this to red. What do we do? Well, it's already red. We want to change to white. What do we do now?
Background color equal and change the color red to white.
Right, so already a reference, everybody already a reference it, right? So now we're gonna say, alright, cool, everything will change to white. See? And that's it.
You can see the example that you're explaining where you have variable names. So choosing correct variable names is very important.
Alright.
So we just change the background to white, but the variable name is changed to red.
Right.
Yeah, so
So you might want to update that as well. But that's what I said, the beauty of it is you don't have to call it or do the changes multiple times. You just do one change here, and the document already referenced it. Right, so the color is applied. I want to change to pink. Save, color is applied. See? So the idea, we change it once and it's being duplicated across the HTML file. So instead of calling style and having to change them individually, that's why the referencing is so important. You have one class, everybody subscribes to, which is changed to red. If you want to change this back to black, or change to black, oh, I never referenced the file, sorry. Force it here. We'll speak on that another time, but I don't want to say it's black, right? But it makes it easier to change. You realize the HTML document is still HTML. So you're trying not to put the style sheet into the HTML document. You're trying to keep that, the degree of separation. You're trying to create a clean website and a flow, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a form. So this is to introduce Bootstrap to you guys, right? I'm going to create a form in HTML. So form HTML. I tell you, this is literally how it works, right? Try it yourself. Try it yourself should give me a form with a bunch of stuff. We're going to remove a few things though. Just want you guys to have appreciation for that. There's a bunch of HTML tags, do not be bombarded. These are just attributes, additional attributes, ID, first name, last name. Let's see what that looks like, right? Save it. I'm going to remove that black from the background. Comment. So when you comment, it becomes obsolete. Now you have a white, nice, clean looking form, right? A form, you fill in your name, you fill in your last name. Let's go to Bootstrap, right? So Bootstrap have its own website, which is just a CSS framework, as I stated before. Can start Bootstrap. Oh my God, I'm not a robot. Right, the most popular HTML CSS, right? And look at it, it's already have forms open. So I can just click forms to reference it directly. And look at how these forms look compared to this form. This form or this form. So how do we move from this to this?
I'll copy the thing and so I put link and link it.
Alright, so we have a getting started page, and you see them actually give you, yeah, I love it, I love it. So they actually give you a link to reference their CSS on the web using href, right? And they actually give you something to copy it, so they know that programmers do this often. I'm going to copy, right? And I'm going to paste it inside my HTML code, right? I'm going to paste it, boom, right? Save that. Let's check the form again. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Wait, maybe it did. Ooh, you realize I changed a while ago?
Yeah, name comment, go down, brother.
Alright, so I comment it, save that, refresh, uncomment, refresh. See it start apply already. But to benefit from it more now, the button still look like a random old school button. I look for a button, I look for a proper form now. So we might want to browse through documentation and say, all right, what are we looking for? Probably a form. So there's a search box, we can use that. So forms, let's look at the forms that we're trying to create. So this is a blue cute button. This one nice, right? And what we're seeing here is just, like I said, HTML tags again with their classes that they created from the internet. So you see in form control, see in form group, form check. That's what they choose to call their things. Just apply the class, right? So say we're trying to create this entire form to collect some information, right? They already have the code base here for you. So we want to drop down something nicer. We want to choose a file from the internet. We have that fee already. We want sizing. Well, we don't have to wait at the sizing part, right? You want to collect a password. Ooh, what you look. Ooh. All right, so I'm gonna just pick something. I'll pick this entire thing, right? Code is already there. Copy them, encouraging copying, right? I copy it, and I'm going to remove my form. I'm going to put their form. It's a bunch of HTML tags, guys. They'll be bombarded. I'm going to save that. And let's check what we created. My God. All right? We have a nice form. Can fill in some information. I have a drop down in place. They're giving you all this for free. So why not use it to create something else? So let's create something that we can have a better appreciation for, like a card, right? So I want to display some information like this. Have a nice little layout. You know, we have created like a 7 create app now, right? Go to Bootstrap because I already the link set up. Let's copy this. Already a link. Let's remove a form, or we can attach it to the form if we want to. Paste this in, save, and let's refresh and see what happens. Wow, I have a card. But wait, the image that we're referencing is not there. So I have to reference actual image. So let's search for image. Laughing people. I don't want to get honest, I'm just thinking. Sorry, don't do it, don't do it. Alright. We're just going to get the link for this person laughing. Thank you, X. Open image in new tab. Don't worry about this. It's just getting the link for the image and where it's located. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to put it in my source. Right? Because the source, as stated last week for those who weren't here, is where we're getting the image from. So if the image lives on your machine, just like how we did a dot, you have to source it as well. Save it first before you can source it. Indeed, right? I'm going to save this here and let's see what happens. Oh, have a nice form. Looks nice, right? A nice card, sorry. So let's tinker with it a bit. So the beauty about the Google Chrome, and that's why people focus heavily on developing browsers, is because you can actually do the edits in real time before applying it to your code here. So let's say we want to make it a bit more centered, right? Or we want to change the size, right? Can click, can marginalize, change the size in real time, interact with the page. So we want to see it look on mobile. Create a mobile form out of it, right? Remove this, reduce this. This is for future list, but just to get a bit of appreciation. I want it to fit nicely inside of it. What is happening right now? There's a defined width. Nice. So we're getting a bigger form now, right? We're editing stuff in real time. A bigger card. It's easier to card, right? So we want to apply some styles to that. We might want it to be bigger or more padding. We can apply different CSS concepts in real time. And you start to see the changes. The font size might be a little small, so we want to make it big, right? So we want to improve the paragraph, looking at margin bottom. As you highlight, you realize what each thing might do for the particular thing. So we're trying to increase the font size. So we might want to do some Googling to say font size, CSS, right? We're editing CSS. Sometimes you get to talk English to the browser, and the browser will bring you to where you need to be. So font size property, right? Try it yourself. So they give you an idea of what it does. So edit some things, put 8,899 run, and see what happens. All right, it's probably too big. Sorry, guys. So put some things, right? Play with it. You can run it in real time. So you see the size increase, or reduce this 12 run, it reduces. So that's all right. So that's much better thing that we're looking for. So I'm going to copy out the font size. Go back to my browser because my browser is a real-time editing tool. Boom, paste in the font size. 12 kind of small. Increase that size. Yeah, so we're going up. We're just pressing the up button right now for people on the call. Pressing the down button, adjusting as we go. The button now, I want it to be bigger, right? So what do we do? Might want to change the size, no? Alright, so we just look increase button size, right? This is buttons. That's our bugger thing here, so right? But what does it do? We can check to see what it does. So play with it. Maybe remove the border, maybe remove the color, see what happens. So it give you what a file? Alright, so remove the color, and we realize I was updating in real time. So you basically have an HTML engine here to play with. So if you don't want to play with it yourself, but you test out the things, you get an understanding of what you're copying and pasting before you put it into your code. Because later on, you'll understand what you did. You have a better appreciation for it. So going back to our default site, what kind of tag is this? It's an A tag, right? We need to increase the size of an A tag. So increase size of A tag. Who knows? Let's Google and things, right? Talking English to the browser, let's see what it brings to me, right? Always increase the size of an A tag later, right? A lot of jumbo things. So this is the question. Stack Overflow is a thing that we use heavily as developers. People ask similar questions. But filter through the questions and let's go to the answer for what exactly you're looking for, right? So we see a font size tag here. So them explain you can use this method or this method. 9 times out of 10 you probably use the second method, right? So let's see what happens. Copy font size, go back to the default. Say I say it there, so make me save or say it go for real. Alright, oops. I'm just using a bigger value. So rem pixels is just something else that we can use. Different units, right? So we're just getting back the size. So nice. So a nice mobile app going here. People can go view my information. So let's make it more personal, right? So as you apply the styles, you have to reapply it back into HTML because this is just real-time editing to test out things to see look and feel. So now we know apply a font size to this, which was what? Let's look at here, the card text with a P tag, right? Let's confirm H5 is an H5 tag actually, right? So we know if a card title, we want to override this. So card title, which is the H5 tag, we want to bring in our CSS file now to work with Bootstrap. So now we'll go back to the default because we know what we edit. So we're trying to say this class, the card title. So we'll create a dot for class, card title. Okay. Going to, as I said, just the class, open curly braces, close curly braces. It's named card title, just confirming it's there. I'm going to apply the new style and I will just apply it. However, Bootstrap will enforce its method, right? So there's a thing called important to enforce your method over Bootstrap. It's just another syntax. Once you put this, it usually takes precedence over everything. So now we're going back to our card. We say, all right, cool, A tag. I already with A tag here, so we increase the font size, right? Same thing we did. So what we're trying to change over here is the A tag. So we're looking at the page now and realize that there's only one A tag, so we might run the risk of referencing an A tag, right? But let's reference it for now. So that's it. If you're referencing a tag, there's no need for the period. The period only relate to classes, right? Copy or paste, copy our code from here, pasting it here. I remember we're enforcing things over Bootstrap. Important, right? So we're going back to here, it's in our P tag. We did apply a style to here as well. So card text is the card name. Let's confirm in our code. Card text, that's the class name. So let's use a class. Yeah, let's use a class, right? So class, remember dot card text is the name. So card text, right? So what do? Increase the some font size to 50. Right, nice. Space it here, overriding Bootstrap. Important, save. Alright, so now that we save our file, and let's refresh and see what happens. We'll never change one thing. It's what on my end. Sorry guys. Whenever I apply one at the style, but let's bring it back up. This is a width, I think.
Alright, did they link back to sheet?
Right. Indeed. So I never create a link to the sheet. So apologies for that, guys. So like I said, the errors in the code, I saw the thing, I refresh the page, nothing now work. Yo, then people think no work. Start complaining. Blame myself first. I blame myself, right? So let's create a link to that. Same style sheet that we just created. Dot, comma, default style sheet. Closing the link. Let's confirm that we need to close. All right, nice. And this is basically saying that we're expecting a style sheet here. Sometimes we just need a reminder, so let's put it there as well. See what happens. Oh, still messy. Still left out some. What we left out?
You have a question?
All right, so let's so the image, yeah, this is what we left out. So the image, we never apply a style to the image. So I'm gonna go back now. All right, so where did we change this width? We're seeing a width 18 here. That when we refresh, we're seeing the same with 18 here. We want it big, man. We could try again, man. Real time it. Come on, we need to change. We need to fix the website. Boom. Perfect fit. So 60, 61, right? Let's change this back from 18 to 61. How dare you override my code? Refresh, boom. Staying constant, right? If you want to experiment with different devices, you can try a Galaxy S5. See what it looks like. You want to change the iPhone 5, it's a different size, what it looks like. iPhone X, taking a while to render. Zoom out. So you see, your browser is a powerful tool, it helps you to bring your programs to life. So now, if you want to release this now, you have an idea of what it will look like on the web. So let's say, all right, when you click my website, I want it to open, say Google, right? So, or my website, or whatever you want to call it. So realizing now the href have a number sign here. This is just another value for the href. All it's saying is don't go anywhere when you click the link. This is making the link dead. Right? Then you click it, either refresh the page.
You just add the hash to there.
Right there. So this hashtag is added. For other sites might have it. I can't think of a site right now. But the idea is don't go anywhere. Stay on the home page. Stay on where it is right now, right? But we want to make it go somewhere. So maybe we want to introduce Bootstrap. So we give Bootstrap a big up because we use them. So go up on the home page, copy this link, paste in the href, save it. Let's test that over for a minute, right? Going back here, refreshing my mobile app, clicking, let's see what happens. Whoa, opens Bootstrap. Whoa, so Bootstrap get them recognition, such and such. So nowhere we navigate and get Bootstrap in a mobile format. If we go back, we'll go back to our website, can refresh. But this said go somewhere. You don't want to create a more appropriate message for the user. So let's change that from go somewhere to go to Bootstrap, right? Because we're advertising Bootstrap right now, right? Saving that, and let's refresh. Go to Bootstrap. Nice. All right, so now we have a better idea of where we're going. Go to Bootstrap. Beautiful. So we know where we're going, we know where we're navigating to. But this information seems not valid, or what do we want to create today? Let's create something for a person. So say we're creating a Crave app as opposed to going to Bootstrap, right? We probably call this animal restaurant. So give me a restaurant name, Dragon Court. Right? So Dragon Court is the name of the restaurant we're trying to go to. So description on Dragon Court. Usually if we create an app for somebody, we probably want to Dragon Court some description. Right, so Dragon Court, what is it saying? What is it saying? What is it saying? All right, order for Dragon Court restaurant online, have your meals delivered at the doorstep, and I'll copy this. And put anything you want to do. So I'll tell you, it's just a series of syntax. Just replacing the fonts here, pasting that, save. Let's see what our app looks like now. All right, going back to our page, refreshing. Ooh, Dragon Court, it's getting more personal. But we want to bring them to Dragon Court, and we don't want smiling people in the background. Probably want a Dragon Court logo, right? All right, so here one, we're going to change go to Bootstrap to check out their website. See what does it look like, website. All right, saving this, refresh. All right, this kind of messy. Takes up the entire page. So let's see, let's edit in real time to make things look better. So A tag, we did apply some style here, but Where is it? Ooh, it's important tag with my default CSS file. This is a culprit. So let's reduce it a bit. Yeah, like a little cleaner. All right, cool. All right, there. So we have to update it because anything that is updated here is not saved in the file. So let's go back to the file and reflect this change. What do we edit? The A tag? I will change it to 5, right? And let's save it, refresh, all right, nice. It's in place, everything is all right, cool. So now the image kind of look tacky. Like, why is people laughing? I want to know about Chinese food. So let's see what we can find on Dragon Court relating to images. Maybe we want to advertise of Chinese. Yeah, man. All right, so
I put the food or the entrance to the
or the entrance to the building, anything you want to choose. Your choice and your ability. Open link in new tab, see what you get. I'm not sure if Google allow reference an image like this. I'm gonna hide this for a sec.
in case you could have do like a double image.
You could. Let me steal the image for a second. Give me a minute. Don't worry about this, guys. This is the image.
Let us borrow the image.
Yeah, let us borrow the image for a second. Don't worry about it. It's just a lot of borrowing images. But I just getting the image for the website to change it from this smiling set of people to something more appropriate to reflect the restaurant. Save. All right, let's go back to our website. Refresh. Nice. Dragon Core restaurant. But Dragon Core isn't the only restaurant we're building for. So let's welcome some more people to our restaurant. So we have a card tag, a div tag, which is defined by a card. I want the same behavior for this tag to be reflected for many other restaurants, right? So let's create some more restaurants. We'll copy the whole thing, because I already designed the first concept. I want to paste it, paste it, paste it, save, boom. Refresh. Oh, wow, look at that. Restaurant apps. But on the Dragon Court alone, I represent other restaurant too. So everybody just follow. I call Yo in, right? I change the name them first. So Yo, invite Yo, right? Invite KFC. KFC nice, man. I want KFC now up to them and them like the thing. I mean, probably on the food, what other food up in a Burger King, right? Or Wendy's. It's a crew bar. I'll give crew bar a big up. All right, guys, make sure to visit crew bar whenever you have time. Saving that, and let's see what happens now. Right. Restaurant now, Dragon Core of Yo, of KFC, of crew bar. But things kind of look tight. Let's try to apply some space in our where a card is located, right? So we have this. All right, so we're trying to create a space between them. So we might want to apply something called a padding, or we can use a margin, right?
Or top of a break.
Well, let's see if a break could work now. Somebody suggested a break, so we're just trying to break. So now remember, guys, we'll just clean up our code a bit to represent each card. So just appreciate this for a sec. As class progress, we'll show you easier ways to do it. So applying a break tag, right? As recommended by Nico. Refresh. Ooh, nice. Seen some space. We've seen a space here. We need a space here. We need a space here. All right. We use the Nico concept. Applying a break to everywhere. Is recommendation, right? Save. Oh, it kind of still look tight, but you know what? I get mad here, man. All right, yo, copy this. Apply a bugger break. Boom, boom, boom. Save. What happens? Yeah, man. Space a one now. Yeah, man. That one wants some more separation. Cool. So I'm gonna copy the same bugger break. HTML code we're using, a raw HTML. Break tag, find the space, and save. Boom. Refresh. Ah, have some breathing room now. So our mobile app is looking nice, coming together. The names are there, the descriptions are there. However, we need more appropriate images for each. So let's get a yellow image. Let's personalize the thing because one. And all right, this is a bad search. Sorry. Oh, nice. Wait. Oh, all right, cool. Let's go in there. Your restaurant. In. I want the image. So to be more specific, let's search yo. All right, stop. Yo. Restaurant Sovereign. Maybe Sovereign is the ideal place. Let's see what photos they have up. Ooh, icky. Alright, so I have more appropriate thing here. So like I said, I'm just going to break the internet for a second. Don't worry about this, guys. You'll learn this later on. Just stealing the image for a sec. I got the image. Where's the image? Where is this? Image files, image files. Wait, you see? I'm looking for a link. Where is it?
Probably background.
Do you really have that thing now? When I see them?
Probably they are one of the other dips. It's probably like a dip.
Oh, wait, see there. You can't trick me. Alright, wait. Highlighting. Let's get in the image. Like I said, don't worry about this right now. Let's see the image so the app can look nice.
Not breaking
Not breaking anything,
anything, guys.
guys. So we did get the Yo image, right? So we're just replacing the source with our old source. Boom. Save. I'm not sure that.
That's not the right.
Yeah, that not gonna work. Background image. Alright, wait. Did I move it? Refresh again. Alright, sorry about the delay, guys. Just trying to get this image. Alright, this is it. See there, so background image. Yes.
So you probably just copied the first one.
What that would be it?
So
Damn.
see if you can click one it not uses
Copy it out. I'm gonna copy the whole thing. Take it out. Alright, guys. So just for clearer vision, like I said, this is not a part of trying to get the image, right? Copying this up to here. Pasting this in. Where we are? Yo.
Yeah.
So creating a link for your image. Paste, save. Let's remove this. Save. Let's go back to our app and see what's happening. So refresh. Right, that was not the image. Wait. Just showing. Let me just check on this. So we're just doing some checks now to see what's coming up. That was definitely.
Come on. Come on.
It's nothing, man. Okay, with the highlight, just like this. Nothing. Let me just get proper image. Challenge accepted. Maybe this is it. Let me just copy this out. It's a style background image.
See if you can search out come on .jpg or come on.
Like, why Google made them things say something? Just gotta know what the image like. Please. Wait,
No crawlers on our website. So.
it's like their problem. Alright, I'm just doing some raw HTML edits just to get the image. Alright, so start from code. Let's code background image. What is this? Not the image. Them break the parts in. One of them kind of parts of the image tag. It's very weird. Alright, we need to make it simpler. Alright, wait. Alright, guys, don't pay that on me. We'll go for image. It's a damn image here. Right. Let's pick one. Foursquare, I guess. Open image in new tag. Yeah, sorry about that. So let's open some
You
challenges.
has done some things to prevent us from easily getting the image.
Indeed. So paste, save, refresh. Alright, nice. Ooh, it's kind of messy, but we'll clean it up as well. So of the Yo image, let's get a KFC image. KFC images. So I'd recommend this approach highly. Just clicking images, right clicking on the image, open image in new tab, just to get the link to that image. Come back to our page. Change now the link.
On the image, you can copy link address works.
Question.
One more question.
Yeah?
Oh, sure. So, is that you would recommend just using the link to the image and not saving the image in the folder?
We could also do that as well.
We could do that as well, but when we go to client and server, you get to appreciate why, because as I said, internet might be a problem. You want to load certain images.
Right.
So we can use that and we're just sticking to that, but sometimes we want some dynamic flow to reference the actual link to the image.
Okay.
And we'll get to that, we'll show you. Yeah, man. So let me just refresh just to check if the KFC was uploaded. All right, nice. So we have Dragon Crow, we have KFC, and we need Crew Bar. Big up Crew Bar, guys. Get free. How much percent discount when we go Crew Bar again? Yeah, remember advertising now, you people discount. All right, so just want to close out by clicking something. So nice places, guys. Yo, check this out. Free. All right, this. No, they're using something else for that. using base 64 for the images. So let's copy this out, paste it in the code.
Increase the size of it.
Let's see, maybe. You have the power and you can do anything you want to make it look appealing. So save that. I'm just going to refresh the page. And here we go. So we have crew bar, we have Dragon Court, and we have KFC. So to close, we're just going to attach the link to each website. And then we'll allow people to demonstrate what they've created last week. So let's go to Yo website if they have one. Restaurant, usually on the left or the right, sorry. Yeah, they don't have a website. So let's use Foursquare. Let's use some. Copy this. So check out Yo. Yo need to be paying me for this. Href. Change this from Bootstrap. So we need who for website now? KFC website. KFC Jamaica. Let's just copy this part. Google try everything for black people. Why stay so? Is the thing free, no? You guys still go bypass it anyways. Crew bar if they have a website. Remember discount guys, ask about it. TripAdvisor. Let's use TripAdvisor link and save. And now we're going to and there's a thing where we don't necessarily want to override the application. We want them to open the link into another browser or another tab like this, as opposed to overriding what we have here. So let's look up that. So open link in new tab HTML. Nice. It's really no thing to me. How does that work? I'm not the only one searching the internet for this, clearly. So you can check here. We're looking for target blank. So I'm highlight what we're looking for. Copy this. Just another attribute. Stated. Boom. Href. Boom. Href. Boom. And boom. Save this. All right, let's see now. So let's check out the application I just created. Refresh. Let's click this. Oh, nice. Bootstrap. Oh, we never changed that. But we're not leaving the site. We're still here, right? So boom, Yo website. We're still here. Boom, KFC website. Nice, KFC with the chicken, right? And then crew bar, guys. Remember that discount that we spoke about? TripAdvisor, prices off the chain, whatever. Look at this pasta. Nice. Let's do a quick browse here. All right. And that, guys, is how you can capitalize on the different frameworks of CSS. So just imagine, look at our CSS code. Let's remove the change to record, we're not using it, or Batman. Let's look at our CSS code, saving this. And I'll show you an example of what Bootstrap CSS code look like for us to be referencing all of this before we go. So our CSS code is pretty clean, pretty nice. Imagine just having card names referencing class. Let's look at Bootstrap CSS code that they're giving us. So I download the file, right? I'm going to save it to my machine. Compile CSS source file. I couldn't. I'm just go home. Cool. All right. So show in folder.
Basically, just show them that all the references are fine.
All them are references are fine indeed. All right. So I have a bug of things here. So right. Man, I'm the best thing. So that's CSS. Let's open a card CSS file to see what that looks like, right? So this is their beautiful CSS file. You have the card title, and they have in reference. So them are variables they can specify because it's SCSS file, which is a predecessor of CSS, but don't worry about it. They're just referencing CSS. But they're just making the code cleaner. But this is their CSS file. This is all they're giving you by referencing that link at the top and more. So now we can reference the card title. Let's look for card title here and see what it did. Card title, nice. All right, so card title supposed to give me a margin, bottom, last child, different styles are applied. Search the document, so two card title. Let's look back at card text. See if that's there as well. Referencing that, card text, nice, or card text. Let's look at card image top. Oh, nice, it's there. It's referenced many times, but the styling that you're getting is being done for you, right? So this is what you're referencing if you download the file. But you can choose to download it and put it inside your folder, or you can just reference the link. See, this is the link here. That gives you access to all this power. And as you go through the documentation, you can just look at get started, and you can literally search what you're looking for. So looking for a form, looking for a card, looking for a table. Let's look at what their table looks like before we go. It's a table. You can create tables like these. Nice black table, style table, just by copy and paste in the code, layout a table, different tables. So they get the hard work done for you. So imagine you have to write all of this code. Somebody already did it. Just get it from the internet and use it. So we just created an app in less than half hour that we can release to the public for viewing a restaurant. Add a different set of functionality, and we're there. All right, so that pretty much concludes class for today. Well, for me talking, I'm going to give everybody a chance to demo what they've created last week because I'm really interested to see. Starting with those online, guys, I'm going to give you guys permission to share your screen so you can demo. Starting with Sonia, did you do anything?
No, because I had training. I started a new job, so I never get to do the thing. But I'm going to do the homework. I know I'm a bit tardy.
All right, let's look out for it later. We're just going down the order, right? Johoy, did he do anything? Or Johoy? I don't know how to pronounce that name. If he's still here. Johoy. Johoy? Oh no, okay. How about you, Javon?
Oh, I just started the class today.
It's not true. I did reference the files and I gave you guys the resources. All right. Candice, how about you?
Yes, I do.
Yes. All right. So share your screen for us, Candice, and show us what you created last week from last week class. Can I give her permission?
Yeah, that's me.
Mine said that. I'm a first class. I won't be there. Just so the youths them.
Wait, which one was Elon? It's Elon in class there?
But Elon must have free him. That was him. All right, nice. I sharing my screen still? Stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, all right. So Candice, you can share your screen.
Alright.
Yeah, you're good to go, Candice. And you can just walk us through the code as well and what you did and what your thinking was like. I don't know, you can just share your experiences.
Hold on, a lot of stuff coming up on my end. Hmm.
I'm not sure. Candice, what you said? Oh, so hold on. All right. I should bring that up. Give me a second. So you guys are open that accommodation. So
Look at the video, no? No, edit.
I don't know. It said that it won't record my screen if it don't quit.
It won't.
It won't record the screen. That don't matter, is it?
So did you click on the share screen icon?
Yeah. You can see my screen?
No.
no.
We're not seeing it as it. Alright, we're seeing it now.
Nice. Oh, it was up there.
You had a lot of
Okay. Alright. So
don't need meeting. Oh.
this is my folder.
Yeah.
This is my this. This is my page.
You just did that a while ago. You're too light. Yo, you just did that a while ago.
I didn't. Che, I was up on. Well, I already have proof because I have pictures. But I did this up until 4 o'clock this morning.
What? This is what? Look at the layout. Oh my, this is wonderful. Oh, you just build your own website.
Yes.
Candies.
So
Oh, it's fresh. And
this
the
is my
text and the different thing.
publication.
Yeah, man,
This
walk us
is
through. Sorry,
my
sorry.
article. Okay, all right.
Oh my.
Let me
What?
go back. So this is my page, everyone. Hi, welcome. So I just did a bio thing. I'm Candice. I'm from Jamaica. I'm 26. I'm a doctor. I'm doing this so I can put it on my CV.
Right.
And these are some pictures of me and my dogs. These are my dogs. And this is my publication. I wrote an article earlier this year and it was published in the British Journal of Radiology. If you have time, you can take a look and you can click on my article and it takes you here. Here we are, Candice Daly.
Nice.
First, yes. And this is the article. You won't understand, but I wrote
We
majority of it.
we understand body candies. Come on.
Huh? Okay, and then I have this little form thing here. Please leave your name and email address so we can keep in touch. Blah, blah, blah.
Lovely.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay, so I realized when we were in class now, I found this online. So I followed this on the W3 thing, and
Right.
then boy, I was glad that I found this because I had a lot of diff for the different stuff, and it was getting very difficult. Then I realized this made it so much easier.
Lovely.
So, where did I reference this subhead? It would have been okay. Yeah, so subhead for bio, as well
Mm,
as for publications. So the
sweet.
subhead. So I can just change my color, font size, blah 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 here, and the padding thing that that I realized that instead of doing breaks, well, from class a while ago, you can do the padding, which creates more space
Beautiful.
quicker. Um,
Love it.
so yeah, I just made this a heading though, the high welcome, so to get it the bold I wanted it. Because the bold
Okay.
wasn't very bold. My only issue is the fonts. Like, am I allowed to choose one of these or I always have to do this? And if I
Um.
want more fonts, how I get them?
It chooses the one that's available.
Yeah.
So
So
if
I can explain that for you.
so if the first one was at Seago UI,
Mm-hmm.
if that one wasn't available, then it would look for the second one. If that one wasn't available, it would
Oh,
just eliminate until it finds one that
okay.
fits.
And
And
then
sans serif is
also,
always available, so
This is
okay,
probably a default.
yeah, so it's good to have that at the end.
okay. But what
Yeah.
if I wanted these?
Hey.
Oh, so those are Google provides a link to a lot of popular fonts.
Oh, okay.
So you could create so you could create basically you could create a custom font within CSS using a
Mm-hmm.
font family tag. I don't know if
Oh,
you
okay.
know that now. But once
I
you
think
create
you
that, you
could
could
do that
reference
with
it
me.
just like how you're referencing these fonts now.
Well, she did create a fun family. So Candice, if you look at your fun family that you created,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as you're listing the different names, you just find out what the name of the tag that you want or the style that you want on Google.
Mm-hmm.
I just Google
Mm-hmm.
what the name is and replace the name with whatever you need it to be.
Okay. Yeah,
And
and this is I learned how to put in emojis.
Certainly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad.
Um
All right, wait, Candice, stop there. Go back to the
yeah.
emojis area. So guys, these are just specialized tag to represent emojis. So emojis are just hexadecimal code or different code format they can use
Oh yeah.
to reference it. So using an ampersand, the unsigned before it, and many other codes, you can research what tag represents an emoji and just copy and paste it into your code. That is
Yeah.
brilliant initiative. I love that, Candice. I can
And
continue.
okay. Yeah, and then I learned how to underline.
But
I bolded this, but I don't really see it. Um and then the pictures. So I was doing it last night, Che, because I was having a problem with the pictures.
yeah,
because you can't use iPhone pictures on this. So, and then my publications, I applied my subhead tag again. Is that I don't know if I'm using the terminology correct, but class, whatever.
Yeah, man. Subhead class.
And then I learned how to not only attach the link, but attach it to a word, which I chose as article. Yeah. And then this is it. And then I use the form thing. I just copy and pasted it. I wasn't so clear on it, and like if people were to never mind, because nobody not come on my page. So
you'll appreciate it more. Form is one of them topic they will understand more as time progresses. Trust me.
Yeah, so I had just copy and paste this, but trying to find the best one based on the description they gave and how it ran. And then I did the footer thing.
Lovely. All right, so Candice, tell me something.
Yeah.
Did you know coding before last week?
No, I
Or
didn't.
what experience of coding did you have before last week?
I did IT in fifth form.
Did IT in fifth form?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. So you basically cheat the class then.
Oh no! I said we never do this in a fifth form.
No, I know, but you have some technical knowledge. But in terms of HTML, did you use HTML prior to the class?
No, 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 no. I
Oh, nice.
learned a lot while I was practicing, and I realized that I should have done it before last night, so I could have played around more with this stuff. But it took me a while. When I discovered the div thing, wow, life
Yeah,
is easier because I was trying to apply the font with a color and it just wasn't working. And I was trying with my own kind of knowledge to try and get the both of them to work, but it was always either or until I found the div thing and I was like, oh God. And
that's the
then
idea. That's
it
the idea.
just
I love
smooth
it.
sailing from there.
There's also another option you could choose. So there are many tags you can apply that don't affect or doesn't show anything on screen that can just affect the styles. You have span as well. You have div.
Yes,
I
I
think those
tried
are
the
the,
span thing as well. I wasn't sure if
yeah.
it was working, so I'm gonna just take it out. Oh, see there? I just put it here to keep
Oh,
them in
nice.
line. I
Lovely. Yeah,
think.
man. So span doesn't apply any style. So there's like a paragraph tag of a smaller font and header tag of a bigger font. Span doesn't. Span is like a container for you to apply different styles or a collection of things. So I love that, Candy. I love
Okay,
this.
okay.
I love this. All right.
Question. Could I
Yeah.
have put this in a CSS file, like default thing like what you're doing?
Yes, and that is what this assignment for this week will be about. So all of this
Okay.
CSS that you've written, you have to transfer it to a file and reference it from there. And you
Okay.
can choose to use Bootstrap if you want to, but you're going to use
Okay.
CSS more in a more organized way, so HTML doesn't seem so cluttered.
Ordered. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Candice, I'm really impressed. Yeah, okay. Here, a round of applause. Big one too.
Thank you. Amazing. All right, I
All
can
right,
stop
so
sharing now.
yeah, but you can. All right, so just checking in on the others. All right, can we? Oh wait.
Yeah, man.
So we were at Candice. How about the morning, Mr. Collins? Did you do anything?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
Yes, I did.
afternoon, the morning. How are you? Welcome to the class.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good, you know, and yeah, I have something done, right?
All right.
Yeah, so I was doing a bit of a tweaking while you were, doing class, but unfortunately it wasn't going through. So I said, all right, then, let me just take off that, right?
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
all right, so I'm going to share my screen.
All right. No problem. No problem. The one I use side.
It's taking a while. All right, so all right,
All
so
right. We're seeing W3 schools.
All right. So based on instructions given, right, I was decided to use create a website expressing something that is meaningful, to the individual and must contain and not limited to an image and a link that opens up. Basically, I followed the instructions that was given for today's class, right? So this is what I have. If you're able to see so far.
Nice. Nice.
So
Background and everything.
This guy looks like a gamer.
Yeah, it look like a game, right?
Yeah.
Like a game page. I like it. So
yes,
walk us through that one.
right. So I was looking to create more of a motivational page and as well give them a link so they can listen to motivational music or videos. So of course, as I started, welcome to my creation, and I gave them a bolded and a
Nice
tagline that
food.
says "Shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land among stars." So
Nice.
I gave them that, and I gave them an image, that gives them a look to say, of course, if you're in a situation or if you're in a picture like this, a picture in yourself, you can literally look up in the sky and you actually are seeing the stars. You know,
Hmm.
and as well, of course, mention the part where if you're a visitor, right, you can enter your name and your email address if you'd like to get more videos or any sort of music, any sort of videos, we can send it to you so you can be motivated. So it's more a motivational page, right? And when you click the link, click this link to get motivated, it will lead you to
What
this.
time? A YouTube. Alright.
So
Nice.
once that's
Great.
loaded, it will load up and it will give you the music, that could motivate you. In whatever you're doing, if you're studying, if you're exercising, those type of stuff, it's kind of taking a while, but you get the drift of
So
what
nice.
will the link be. So
So
in terms of, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was saying, so I'm assuming that motivation is something that's important to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
motivating and the people out there.
I love
So I went with that type of feeling and that mood. So I went along with that. Yeah, it's really not, I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Probably it's my system. Um, it was a song by Drake. I see it here, a song by Drake. Um,
that.
yeah. So if
Huh?
you can see it here,
Oh.
right? So that song is Trophies, by Drake. So yeah, so that type of thing. When I thought about it, I say, what, let me just put in this, because this song really motivates me. So if I have that as a link, someone can go on and just click on it and listen to it if they're a Drake fan or some sort of,
Um, tell us about the editor that you chose to write the code in. I realize you're using code blocks, which are another option, guys, but interesting choice.
Yeah, I was asking before because I've done some sort of I've done programming before, but unfortunately I had to put a pause to it because of some family matters. So I was using code blocks before. I had some of my programming done on code blocks, and I was used to use HTML. So I was using HTML to create this, right? To create my web page,
I
right?
like it.
So I was using that, but when I filled out the certain information, so in terms of filling out the name and email address, I have a sort of issue. So I was coming now online and through the video chat to see if that could be resolved by any chance. When I was filling out these, the name and the email address, I've I get either penalized for that. I've been, experiencing this. So I was saying then, okay, I've been trying so hard to find out what it is that I went wrong with it. I literally start from scratch, right from scratch, and then still nothing. And then I go at it again and I say, okay, let me do this, still nothing. And I'm still stuck here trying to find out. Because what I wanted to do is when they fill it out, they get a message saying that, thank you for your submission, or submitted, and I'm not getting that. So I was wondering if by any chance I could get a solution as to why that's really happening. But so far this is and
I
more
would
to
say you could go back to the code. All right, so go back to the code. Let me show you something. All right, so in form has an action attribute, just like the target, just like style, just like class. So action in itself is where the client-server relationship come in play, right?
yeah.
So the action there is pointing to a slash action page.php file. So there's no file that is called that inside of your work folder. So remove the action file. Just remove the action attribute altogether. No, not the entire form, just the action attribute, just the attribute.
Here.
Nice, yeah. Just remove that and save your code and refresh the page that you just created. Not that I know of, but let's see what happens. Fill in information again and press submit.
Okay.
All right, so
I
you
just
realize nothing breaks now, right?
right.
All right, so just to give you guys some insight, the idea here is if you had a back end, because right now you have a front end or the client, as we call it, you'd be posting this information to the server. So in HTTP or the method of communication, you have different verbs that you can use. So get is to get information from the server. Post is to put information to the server. Put is to update information on the server. Patch is to update information on the server. Delete is to delete information from the server. So that action there would be complemented by one of those verbs, right? So in forms, what you're trying to do is that information that you collected in the form, you're trying to post it on the server. And if you had a database connected to that server, you would then store that information into the database, inside the database. So this is for a later class, but just to for you to get an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
So you have a client, which is what we're building now, which is raw HTML and everything else. Then you have a server, which dictates how data is being transferred between the host provider or the server and the client. So let's say you want to update that image. You wouldn't necessarily update it on the HTML side. You'll send over the image data from the server and then put it into the source stack.
Okay.
So let me give you a better appreciation. I'm just going to take the screen away from it briefly. I'll give it to you. I'll give it back to you.
No
I just
problem.
want to show.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
I'm actually finished, but I mean, you can go ahead if it is that.
Oh, apologies for that. Yeah, man. All right. So I'm taking back the screen control now. Great job, Ramona. I love it. Love the progress. Love the concept. Love the thought process. Love that you represented something that you're really passionate about. So thank you for sharing this with us as well, Dam.
All right.
So give me a second before I move on to the next person. So like I said, this is for a later class, probably up to week 6, 8. But I wanted you guys to just see how things would flow. So let's go into a tool or online tool where I can mock up something. So here we have a server, here we have the client. So I use something different to represent it. It's a database. This is the client. So represent this as a website. I'll label them, right?
I'm not seeing you.
Oh, all right, wait. You're not seeing the screen?
Yeah. It just says Brainbot Solution has started screen sharing, but I don't see anything.
All right, let me see, confirming. Let me try again. Check in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. So in programming, there has to be a way to persist the information, which is why you have a database. When I say persist, I mean the stored information, right? So let's call this a database. Or in programming terms, they call it DB, right? Um, so let's label them database. And here we have a server. So create a server here, right? We'll build servers in the class as well because it's code too, right? And we have the website for a better, lack of a better term, and for more appreciation. So where we at now is we're creating websites with static information, meaning once we hard code information in here, so it now going to change when we put it to the public. We have to manually go in and remove these things, right? So what a server allows you to do now is define what these data look like. So let's say I want a name from my database. I'm going to create a text here that says I want the name information. We're going to represent the one text, right? I will create some arrows as well for you guys to see the flow of info. Putting it here, putting it to the server. I'm going to create another arrow to represent the flow of information to show you guys exactly what happens with a website, right? So I want the name information from the database. So let's start from here. So this is DOM's form, right? DOM form. So I submit my name. When I submit my name, it is then posted to the server. The server is the brain of the operation. So the server dictates what information leaves the database or what information goes into the database, right? So with your form now done, when you click submit, what we have to do now, we have to create a server side that is expecting to receive this name information. And then once it receives this name information, we have to instruct it to pass it into the database. And that is how the data will be persisted. So now, whenever the website loads again, what will happen now? I refresh my page, the server will know, well, I'll make a request to the server that I need to show the information to the users in my website. So I'm going to make a request or a get to the server because I want to get the information from the database. So now when I get from the server, this information is now pulled from the database, from the server to the website. So now you see the name being shown on the website. So let's use a case where we might have these many links. So we'll create a link to an image, but instead of hard coding it into our HTML here, we'd want to, let's change the image. We'd want to use the same thing, same concept, get it from the database because the server is the brain of the operation, and then inject it into my website. So that elephant that you uploaded will be stored in the database for you to present it on screen. But no, we haven't touched on server or database at all. We're just raw editing content up front here. So that form, all it's doing now, all it's looking to do is submit information to the server so it can be stored in the database. Was that clear?
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, man. So what you basically need to do in summary is we'll need to build logic on the server to expect the information coming from the server to be saved in the database. So as we progress, as the week goes on, we move from websites to servers, to database, to many other things, the middleware, mobile apps, for example. But for now, we're at the very front of things by hard coding image link into the HTML code. Sounds good, Dams?
All right, bro.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing now. How do I stop sharing?
So,
Oh, stop
I
it.
think you stop sharing.
Are you guys still seeing my screen?
No.
All right, great. So I'm just going to pass on to Joy Bennett. I don't know if you had a chance to create anything last week. Oh, it's new. Okay, no problem. All right, so I'm just going to pass. I see that there's no other persons on the call. to be demonstrated. So I'm just going to pass on to the members that is with us today to show their demo. To do so, I'm just going to share my screen one time. Join. Huh?
Join the session. Join Zoom and share from within the laptop. With me. Or you want them just show them.
Oh, them can do that. Them can do that as well. All right, so guys, with a laptop, I was assuming. Oh, you knew. All right, so just join Zoom with your laptop and share your screen here, Nico. And Joy, to answer your question, yes, that's Xavier from Nagahead Primary. He did attend Nagahead Primary. Joy. You know Joy? Joy Bennett? She know you. He's not Rastaman too.
Hi, Victor.
Hi, I remember the name Bennett, but not Joy.
No, this is Sonia. Sonia was saying Xavier.
Oh, hey, Sonia.
My birthday is next week, Tuesday.
I'll make a note of it.
Oh, it's Joel Mackenzie.
Oh, yeah. Yo, Joel. One of my best friends from primary school. Small world.
Oh, look at that.
Small world.
Connections. Bam. All right. Welcome, Joel, to the class as well. It's good to have you on board. Hopefully, as time progresses, you'll become more competent in your development abilities. Hey, man, you will get it, man. You will get it. And the group is there to share any questions you might have as well. You were added to the group. So you can share your questions and you guys can interact in the group and to bounce ideas of each other.
Yeah.
If there's a block or talk to each other, the group is there. The Zoom link, check the WhatsApp chat. Oh. Alright, so excuse me for a second. We're just getting the guys in class set up for the Zoom link so they can share what they've created.
Oh yeah, they put
Alright, just like I said, giving other members a chance to log into the chat. So, give us a few. You want us to give the Nyla login? Give the Nyla login? Yeah, just give the Nyla. So I'm gonna join from. I've shared there.
I think it's easy. Them information.
That's what I think. Are you sure? You know, I just download the file from the resource. You upload the file already to the drive? Upload the folder? Oh, so you're a delinquent. Hey man, so later on between today and tomorrow, well, if I get more sleep last night, so between tomorrow and Monday, I'll compile a document for this week's class and share it in the resource folder. But once it's available for CSS in particular, it will have some resources that will help to will aid in you further in your knowledge. So you get access to videos, content, anything you need really to get further in your knowledge. So by next week we should be ready for CSS expansion and JavaScript potentially. You see somebody? You see? You just honestly, like,
in art school, what I do in art.
let's have conversations. Good.
So it seems.
Você liga sobre os dias. Consegue dividir. Eu tenho que tirar essas coisas.
They are 90%.
Dá para saber? Dá para saber?
No, man, this is the waiting room.
That's for me? Alright, cool.
Meeting passport. Go back there by WhatsApp.
Yeah, John. Yeah, man. Tell me the extra thing that you need. I'm still in the class, but continue. Go through. You hear me? There you go. Alright, so Nico just entering the passcode. Enter the meeting. Oh, you stay where you stay? Huh? You need the ID? Connect WhatsApp to you, Mashi. You have a phone for him? I'm sure. Where is it?
My background, I wanted to associate this company in, so I'm gonna try to do that work. Try it out now, but I want to be a lead. Any English page, English.
Coming, guys.
It's going to use the method that I recommended before. All right, Nico, I just want to make you upload it to the resources folder here. Here? Let's change the permission. Edit. Alright, save and done. Alright. Alright, so guys, who would be demonstrating is here.
I'll download it folder onto my machine.
Well, and I have not ever had an IT class or anything.
Oh, no IT class?
No, I mostly did art and music and well, practical.
Okay. Alright, no problem. Alright, so you can, Malcolm, help you with it while somebody pretty self-present. So you can introduce yourself. I'll go share my screen. So when you're ready to share the screen, click that and press share, and then you can go back to the file and open HTML. I'm opening it in the Visual Studio Code for you. So file, open. This is you and open. Cool. So now everything there, and for switch just Command tab, go between tabs. So Command tab, Command tab, Command tab, Command tab. See? Alright, so guys, you can introduce yourself, and when you're ready, just press share and do it.
Yes, sir, no?
Yeah, man, they're seeing you now, so you can introduce yourself, and when you're ready to present the website, just share your screen. Ready for this. You want to follow the image?
No, I didn't, but,
One or multiple supposed to actually have.
No, let's click this actual share link. Just click it and click this. And click share. So now they must see your screen. So your website is here. Yes.
Website, but
Your
oh,
first command first and type. Command first. Hey, just press it one time. Hey, don't hold on by this.
you not hold on?
Press it, press it, press it, press it, press it, press it.
Well,
So now we want to show the website first or the code?
code.
Alright, so let's bring the website here, then let's go to the code. And you can go to HTML and data. Just click in different files that will make them all.
Well, this is my website, so to say. Please, I have not done any IT classes or anything, even in school. I mostly had music and well, practical or art classes. So I think I did okay enough for this. Wait, pushing on. First, the dragon.
Hmm?
I remember the dragon. Go. Where do I get the kind of small on scale on the screen and kind of small on the screen and add on the website over here, sir, right?
We want to split it?
Yeah.
Alright, no problem. Alright, so we're just trying to split the screen so you can have appreciation of the code alongside the website. Minimize this for you. Alright. So if we get it back, command D. Command D. Okay.
Well, this is my first time building a website. I did it yesterday because I didn't have the laptop until like day before yesterday, and I had work. I went home like after 8, after 9. So I did this last night, the last minute actually. Oh, this is my website. It was about dragons because actually my favorite character in the anime is a dragon. Natsu Dragneel, if anybody watches anime. This was from, let me see, I should have. This was from the code is still in here, over here still. I didn't really do all that much considering what everyone else did. I found out blue is my favorite color. This is why I use blue for, well, three of these. This is actually my name instead of Seth, though. What else? I couldn't find the italic font, but I found out that you could use. Let me show. But you could use this as to change the font, as in could actually change the shadow. It was not shift, it was yes. I see. Like here, to change a font, although it's only like one change the font. Or wait, you can bold it too. Ah, bro, you gone too far. It's this.
Just kind of where the things to touch.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where is there?
It's a oh, the bold, the color, the style color was blue because blue is my favorite color, as I said. Oh, the style color was blue because it was my favorite color. I didn't really do much because I got the laptop day before yesterday. Mine's is still fixing, although I'm actually just ordering another one, but it won't show up until November, early December, for some reason. Why?
Oh. So you already explained to them why you chose dragons and things? Alright, so you don't know if you want to continue.
I kind of finished and I don't really know what else to say.
Alright.
I showed a bolded and the foot
Mm-hmm.
was using.
You want to remove it?
Yeah, I will.
Alright. You trying to add something else to the page?
No.
Alright.
That's it.
Yeah, man. So Nico, you might have to go upload it to the drive like what he did or whatever. Huh? Upload this. Huh?
The text color is a migration to our website. It's like a multiple speed where it presents the very color the writing is black and background stars.
You want to do white?
Yeah, I want to change that to white. Bracket text color.
Mm-hmm.
Would it not affect it?
It wouldn't. Alright, here we do. Upload it to the drive folders are shared. So I can access it on my machine. So you can present from here. See, tell me when you access the drive. Just copy the folder into the drive.
Oh, and how exactly do you change the background to an image?
The background?
Yeah.
So you only can use CSS, so you can so there's a thing called background image.
No, the tag.
The tag.
Yeah.
All right. So remember, the body is the entire thing, you know. So we just have to style the body. So there's a way to write in image like this. Copy it. You don't see it's a sheet, so I'll just create a style here. So I'll paste this in and put an appropriate image. What kind of image you want there?
Dragon.
A dragon
No,
image?
no, no, no. The dragon is already on the front page. It will just it will still be a dragon image.
Dragon images, I don't know. A nice website you can also get images as well, the alpha folder. Okay? Come on, there's an assignment. It was created this morning so they can see. Yeah. Come on. So guys, there's a site called wall.alphacoder that you guys can go to reference images. So we're just searching for a dragon here. Nice wallpaper. You can see present with an extensive list of items or things to choose from. So which one of these dragons do you like? And this one?
Yeah.
Right, so we'll just copy this. Let's see what the links look like. Right click, image tag. Got reference in it, so we just need image file only. It's in. I just want to change the URL from the background image to the same one here referencing. Alright, so there is a trick to it. So because I use double colons here, double quotations here, it's conflicting with this quotation, thinking it's a close quotation. So this is a singular one.
Singular?
Yeah. To stop the thing from not showing. Right? Let's go back to your website and see what happens. It's all over the place, right?
Yep.
So what you can do is there's a thing called background cover. Or you can type get background image. So we're using the to cover whole page.
You finished the thing?
The robots. CSS tricks or WT smooth if you want. So we want it to fill up everything. So they literally give you all the code here that you need, right? So now things are getting a bit convoluted. So let's bring this down a notch a little. Let's give ourselves more space. So ideally what we're trying to do now is we're using this CSS code, transform everything that you've done here. Remember, websites don't necessarily identify space. You can give us no space that you want. Background image is already there, so we can just remove this. I don't need most of this first, right? Let's get this. Let's copy your link. So this is a link to the dragon. Change now this. This. Let's remove this, seeing that it's redundant. Go to the cover. Go. Alright, save
All
this.
that coders or wall coders?
All the alpha coders. I'll share a link in the group later, so if you want to access it. You see the image now full. So using those series of CSS to get a full image. You might want to change the color to this white because it's dark, right? So you say blue is your favorite color, right? So now we just have to style the p tag to background color to white. Save, refresh. Oh, that's just that. So I see it's an article. All right, perfect. There's no problem. Let's do the same thing. Style, background color, white. Save it, refresh, nice. So do you want to put a background to these blue colors as well, so it's more appealing?
Yeah.
What color would you want?
Wait, but if I do that, most of this is going to be blacked out by the text.
Most of the dragon will be blacked out, right? Yeah. All right. So there's a way to there's a thing called opacity, right? It allows you to define the transparency, right? So we can probably choose 0.5. Let's save that and see what
I could just change the color of oil that
you see. So, and as using the thing that we learned today in class, you can inspect to see what opacity sits perfectly what you're trying to achieve. So opacity here is 5. We can just maneuver it by pressing up button. Okay. Then I'll make it 5. Let's alright, up. Darkness increase, you can probably change the color to 2, to the right, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whereas as you go closer to 1, it becomes more sharp. Yeah. So we'll probably do 3 seems about fine.
3 or 4.
Alright, 4. Alright, so let's already change it to 5 here, so let's go to 4. Save it. Let's close by the real time editor. Refresh. Nice. So now we're seeing our dragon clearly, and we might need to apply the same to the rest of the colors of the fonts. So I'll put something here, copy this, opacity, save, refresh, next. Now you see you want to have a background for the blue. What color would you choose there? Same white or a different thing? Extremely your call, anything you want to put there.
The white seems like it's not okay because of this. So just white.
Give me this white?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's just apply the same styles. Apply it here to everything that's blue. It's already have a style tag with the blue, so let's just copy all the CSS code. That's self, right? And boom, 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 boom. Started with blue, so let's add it to the blue. Close the blue. Apply these. All the different blues that we have on the website. So I have another blue here, like that. Another blue here, which is a link ideally, but can force it, force the link color to do something else. But let's get a style because it has none. Okay. So apply to the whole thing. So now we're seeing things more, but the blue is kind of faded, but I'll challenge you to make it brighter. So the opacity is being applied to the whole thing. The last thing that was shared. Yeah. Yeah, so that's you. Can just review that when you go home and make your modifications. Because we're really building on top of this for the next class. Using some CSS to make it look more appealing. So you have everything. Now we try to show what you've learned so far. One sec.
Animation. This is that.
Yeah, wall alpha coder, yeah. You can just use it for wallpapers and things. Very brilliant. So just search where you want and you get it. Alright, so that's a good job. People are still on the call, guys. That was you didn't introduce yourself already.
I didn't think they saw my face though because it was actually on. Nah,
Just to say your name. Tell them
my
who you
name
are.
is Saeed Brooks.
So that was Saeed Brooks' presentation. I'm going to give him a round of applause for that. Good start. So you're fascinated by dragons, you said. You can talk more about that because that'll be interesting to see or hear more about what. You know?
And I saw that you watch anime too, sir.
So me watch anime?
Yes.
Which
I
anime?
saw a dubbed anime site when you just started.
I don't know, probably. Well, I watched Death Note, a few others, but it's not a thing I do heavily.
Death Note passed a long time.
That's why I say I'm not up to verse with it at all. I just put it aside, but I don't really have much time for anime, you know. But I'll give it a try if someone puts it in front of me, you know.
If you want to give something a try, don't watch Death Note. Death Note is more. I had to sit down every day for watch because the episode them and the season is very short.
It is. That's why I just run through. I think I did sit on like 2 days and watch out the whole thing.
Each season is supposed to be like if a 12 episode is supposed to be 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
6 hours and add 2 things that are so.
I watch One Piece though. I think Dame's One Piece couple times.
Which episode are you in?
Probably watched 2 episodes out of the thousands of episodes. Alright, hold on. Nico, how was there? How was there? How was there? You alone left in room. Make sure you not try to add more code in the Nico, cause time pass. Cause you have the whole of the week if you add more code. You have the whole of next week. As time progresses, you'll be building much better things. So don't get attached. Just do your thing. How you stay? Still alone? Good.
You know, just saying, you just need to link.
Well, how would I see if this is sending back to Huh? Can I see if this is sending back to this? Or is it?
Oh, you want it update? I can drop it in a drive. So, right there now. So, the reason why I was saying that this was important is because similar to how you upload things to a server to make it be publicly available, same process. So, just like a copy and paste thing in, and just stop sharing, stop sharing the space of the screen. It's very similar. So, what we do, we'll go to a URL that allows you to upload files. So, you already have a file there, right? And you made the changes, and now you just update it. You change it to boom. But as if you want to duplicate, so update existing. And now all the changes have been saved for people to visually view. So all of these websites that you see, they're just publicly shared files. You know what I mean? So what you're doing now is publicly sharing your file for everybody in the class to see and access, if they see fit, because this assignments folder is publicly available. And that was the key lesson, which I never really got around to. But close this, close this, close this, close this, finish. Delete this. Nico, stay.
That's the thing, I'm trying to live this in our own.
Alright, so you want to wait till next week?
No, I would actually like to present what they should put out everyone. Just give me one time.
Let me think. What can we do?
I think why don't you look at money coming here?
Oh, like share, like a little video?
No, it's just not here, camera, you put that money
Alright, let me think. Well, I'm not, so it probably won't be. Alright, I mean, come on, dude.
Wait, it is stop share? It is stop share on Zoom?
Alright, come Nico, you say.
Oh,
You want to
it's
upload? You see the tick?
not yet.
Still upload, you see?
It says hold up.
Alright, let's see.
Alright.
Alright, so guys, Nico is going to give you a run through as the final person in the class today. Just going to download this stuff onto my computer. Just confirm that I'm sharing my screen. So the drive, same drive, Nico just uploaded, so just going to download. Alright, okay, let's leave. Alright, so same place that Steph was, Nico has his assignment. Going to like decompress and open the same in Visual Studio Code. So that's what I did Steph. Open desktop Nyla index.cu and boom. I'm just going to double tap the HTML for you to show them next. So you can start by getting them off. Whichever method you choose.
Alright, so everyone. Alright, basically where I started mines, I chose um, Video Studio because it's fun, it's easy to angle, and it's more usable. Alright, get this started. Alright, this is basically mine's HTML. Everybody hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Alright, this is basically I chose basics because it's more fun, easier for me. I chose the studio. This is basically my website. So this is lecture introduction about myself. It was not finished because I was kind of constrained between work and doing this, but I had fun with it. I chose a phoenix image because what it represents for me is birth, rebirth. I chose a rebirth, and the images basically the sky image is the background, represents I was looking forward. Well, yeah, basically it's endless possibilities. You're looking towards the stars. There's a quote about the phoenix. Most of you won't see it because I had it in black and the background is in stars. Basically, it's an introduction about the phoenix. I would have to change it for you guys to see. But basically, it represents no matter what you're trying, or no matter what you're doing, you can always rebirth yourself because life is hard. So I chose the phoenix. This is just a basic rundown of mine still. Introduction about myself and what I believe I see myself as a phoenix. And go back to the next one.
Alright, so I'm gonna show you a cool trick. So in Mac, you use your 2 fingers and push up. And just like pick on it.
The thing is now, they wanted to change the color. The hyperlink color was white, but the writing is still in black. That's why most people don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Alright, let me see if I can.
Yeah, the same
thing
thing.
you just showed, right?
Similar, but I'm just gonna show a different method. So what we're noticing here is you have a P tag, right?
Paragraph tag.
But there's a thing here. What is this? Let's see what happens when you remove
Ball.
Oh, that's a bowl, she said.
it. Yeah, no, but there's an extra thing.
Oh,
There's
heading.
Yeah, no, it was actually a semicolon, I think greater than sign.
greater than sign. So we're removing that. So that's one thing. So you're saying what on the page is a
I want
hyperlink?
it to be, well, the whole link, this.
You want this entire thing to be a link?
It's actually, it is a link to the information about the images.
Alright, no problem. Let me.
But the color I got the color in white, but it now.
Alright, let me apply some spacing and thing to see how thing looking. Alright. So seeing the bold tag as Candy stated before. Alright, so there's a conflict. So this H1 doesn't match up with this H1, but this bold tag can't override the H1 tag. So it have a follow-up protocol. So this was the first tag that was introduced. So if we put it outside of the bold tag, because like a hierarchy. So you have a H1, it have to be outside of the bold tag that's inside. It have to complement each other in terms of that, right? So that's one thing. The P tag is there. You say you wanted the entire paragraph to be a link.
Yeah.
That's here, right? This thing. It's not in any codes at all. That's in black codes. The site. Alright, give me a space for site. Right. So use black code. Why use black code?
black code because I was trying and black code's like basically it show it can basically represents the code and it carries back to the link where black code represents.
Alright, so let's see what black code does. So black code, try it yourself. So what you're trying to do is
Link the website, the information to the website.
okay, so you want this flow,
Yeah.
and it cites this information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so let's see, and so website block code from here, and do you want when they click? Let me check look at this. Do you want when they click here, it go to a link, the website?
Yeah. There's the information that gives you more.
All right, so block code did work. So I've seen it here, and it ends here. So you put a table. Seen a table, but I'm not sure where it started. Seen a closed table. Where is the open table?
Oh, that wasn't mentioned. I think the table should be up at the top. I wanted to format them.
Right, so this is a format default, right? So block code is block code. Code group, what are you using code group for?
I was trying to change the writing from white so better color to reflect. The background is stars, so basically right now I found a black.
Alright, you could try remove this. So I have the block code now. Let's just confirm that this being affected.
So still in black, that's what I was trying to change.
Yeah man, I get it to black. There's a breakdown. So this is where you create our right? So black code, Greek mythology, it's all there, right?
Yeah.
Site is this.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you want this to be white. You want this to be white this thing, right?
Well, I want to be a color, yeah, white, because white would have faded.
Alright, so we can do now. So and choose create a span tag. The span is the one that you can apply styles to without actually changing anything, right?
Okay.
See if this would work. So try nothing now. So applying a style in the color. Okay?
Yeah.
Try this and see. Alright, see? So span tag, it doesn't affect the style still remains the same block code style.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to increase the writing.
The size of it?
Yeah, the size.
Alright, no problem. Font size. In font size that we're using. And we can use probably 2 here. Say that. So we get this.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so is it the same for the others? You want it to be white as well?
Yeah.
Alright, so we can just apply the same style.
Copy it down with the spam.
You want to increase the size of them just like this?
Well, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't say 2 hours, I guess 1.
Alright, 1. So we could just still apply the same styles. To which one first? A good day, my name is. So H1 tag, political style. Save as a type. Alright. And then for the paragraph tag, is there probably 1?
Yeah, I guess 1 would be good.
See what happens. Alright, wait. Let's see you closing a paragraph. So you closing it here instead of opening. So just remove that. Refresh. Alright, good.
Yeah.
And then this final thing here, the information at the bottom, which is the email and stuff.
Yeah, that's my email.
That is for, so you have an image reference as well. Are you using this image or anything? Or you just put it there?
No, that's good.
Alright, so I remove it, right? Same for your table header. See what that looks like. You have a table, you have a table, you have an open table, you don't close the table, alright, so let's take a step back. So we remove this. You just have a close tag, it doesn't do anything. You have a table row, and you have a table header, and you have table data. You don't necessarily need a table, you can remember just use a paragraph thing. So let's pull from some of the already did. So paragraph type. And you can just apply the style to the paragraph type. You say you want to put the email there.
Yeah.
And you want to Oops. Paragraph there. Let's copy this out. Move all of this table, so you don't necessarily need it. We can experiment with it for next week. Do it first. Change the size, so you want it small, right?
Right, no, that's not good. That's the size I want to.
That's good? You say you want this whole thing to be a link now.
Yeah.
Alright, so to create links, remember we're using an 8 tag, right? So if you're in a span, you can start the 8 tag. Make sure it close. So this open it instead of be within the close, within the span. Because it started within the span, so close it within the span, right?
Okay.
Close that, and then what's the 8 tag over 8 right? Then you want link to be this link, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So let's copy this. And then we'll return our target. It's another attribute. Make it just go to another page. Refresh it. Let's modify some CSS. So href tags usually default to have this link looking thing, right? So let's see if we can override the color. And so you see the color has been changed. Let's say what you want white before, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is the href become clickable with here. So let's try to enforce it and see what happens. Still right? So we might need to not apply it to the span, but more to
the style.
The 8 tag. Let's see what happens when we try that. Might still not work. The 8 tags are tricky to override. There we go. So the span in this case becomes useless because I already need it for a style.
Yeah.
And then now, usually underline is to make people know so it's a link. So keep it underline is something I'd recommend. If you want to remove it, there's a way. You want to remove it or make it stay?
I can't, but no, I would rather remove it because I want it to be readable, I want it to be a link.
Alright, so remove underline from link. CSS can be okay. CSS style and links. So we have links. So different links. You have one underscore, you have one, you have one, you have one link. So let's see what we can do with this thing. So this is a link. These are also links. These are also links. So I'm gonna show you different things that can be applied to the color. Link button. Let's go to different layers. Alright, so a link. Let's see what they say if there's any links they give there. So this is not very useful to me. So links, remove underline. Alright, so nice. So there's a thing called text decoration, right? So text decoration by default links underlined and above link, right? So we're looking to probably change the text decoration to none. Text decoration might say the text decoration is basically identifying it as a link, I think, right? But let's not assume, let's try for ourselves and see. Text decoration none. Save and see what happens. Right? But it's still a link, so if you click it, what happens? It's still open
to get to the website.
Yeah, so ideally, by default, the A tag declares the text as a link, but we just remove the link by setting it to none. Right? We just override the CSS on the bottom. So yeah, now you have a nice website. Anything else you don't want to change?
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Alright, so you can talk about it now.
Right. Basically, guys, this is info I was trying to explain to everyone because back in the days, Greek mythology thought as a phoenix as a bird that reborns from its death. Basically, that's what it represents to me. I feel like in life we go through struggles and sometimes people feel down or demoted or every day break your spirit. So I basically look toward the stars and feel like a phoenix. No matter what brings you down or what pulls you down, you can always reborn, start over. Because the greatest, I think it was a post that some great monk said, no matter how far you fall, there's never a hole deep enough you can't climb from. If you always keep that in the back of your mind, because I've seen rich people and people that have been up the top of the food chain fall to bottom and literally strive to find back their path. So basically, that's why I chose the Phoenix, because no matter in life, we always reach stumps or you're gonna fall because it's growth. And everything you try to work out is the first time. Well, that's why I chose the Phoenix. That's basically it still.
Alright, so that's it, that's it.
Yeah.
So you want him to walk through the code or
Oh yeah.
anything you want to speak on
I guess.
specifically? Very profound, by the way, Nico. Very profound.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing that. No man, just swipe with the three finger.
Up.
Yeah. And just click.
Well, basically, guys, this is where I started out. With Minds, I chose the studio because it's more fun and it's easily. I started with HMLX and then a TR for tag row, then the header, and I put in well the title, because when you put the title, most people open a website, you need a title for website. I chose Ace, and then style color, tomato. Well, basically, open bracket, close bracket, color, style, equal sign. Then I put in the color tomato to give it the red, because the red represents strength to me. Then I chose the name of it is Phoenix to get it there. Then I put in an image source right here, as you can see, and here for the width and the body style background. And I guess using Virtual Studio, it actually helps comment and easier to use. Most it's friendly using this because it gives you the hints and the coding are actually there, so you wouldn't have to struggle going back and forth from Google or searching the right one to fit in. Basically, you start typing them, they already automatically key them pop up. That's basically it still for me.
Alright, so well said, well said. Thank you for sharing, Nico.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna give a round of applause. Nico is finished. Alright, so I'll upload the information, the new updates to the drive so you can access it. But I want to thank everyone that joined us today. And if there's not any more questions, I would like to wish you guys an amazing rest of weekend, an amazing new week to come next week, and look forward to see what you guys create for the following class or for the next class. And thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. This was fun.
I'm Candice. All right, guys. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Me new to the
Oh
class.
wait, Javon, you saying something?
Yeah, me new to the class and me need the link for the assignment them.
Come again?
I'm new to the class and more the link for the assignment them.
All right. I've uploaded them, So, when did you join the group?
Like yesterday, my friend Nikolai told me about the class when yesterday and he sent me the link today.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'll share. All right. What I'll do, I'm going to upload the drive with the content for this week's class. And once I do so, I'll reshare the link so you can access everything from the first class and the second class, which is today. All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thanks for coming, Javon. Appreciate it, bro. All right, guys. Any more questions? Any more concerns? Any more comments? All right. So I guess not.
No.
Are you saying them?
No, I'm good. Good.
All right, solid, solid, solid. All right, so like I said, guys, we're creating, let's say, a network of developers, people who are on the same mission as everybody in the group is on the same mission to learn how to code. So feel free to ask questions in there. If there's any blockage, if there's any concerns, just ask them and see who can help you with whatever you need help with. So I look forward to that conversation, that dialect.
Wait, you have a WhatsApp group?
Yeah, man, there's a WhatsApp group. Have you been added?
No. Tell me
All right.
number. I'm give me number, you tell me the number.
Nikolai. Yeah, let me make a note of your number now, Jeff.
399. Write it down.
Make a note. Come here. Give me a second, Jeff. All right, go on, Javon.
399.
Yeah.
5961. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Javon. Javon, what's your last name?
Lati.
Lati?
Yeah.
Javon Lati.
Yeah.
Latty?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So we added to the group, Javon. Like I said, we share the resources from last week's class and this week as well. Once the compilation has been completed, and you guys gonna success it from there and build on top. So everything follows a structure. So you won't be left behind. All the information from the first class is there, so you can just review the documents and the videos alike, and then it will bring you up to speed with where we are currently going into the third class. All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. So thanks for coming, guys, and like I said, I wish you guys a great week, and see you next week.
All right then. Thank you.
Yeah, man. No problem.
Out there, man.
Yeah, man. Respect.